The ancients knew a truth we have been encouraged to forget, that the entire universe, with all its galaxies and all its mysteries, is not something to be conquered outside of you, but something to be discovered within you. They knew that the most profound journey is not across oceans or towards distant stars, but inward, into the silent, luminous space of the soul. Yet, you have been taught to look for answers everywhere but there. You search for them in the approval of others, in the accumulation of objects, in the endless chase of a future that never quite arrives. You have been running for so very long, seeking a sense of home in places that were never meant to shelter you, and now you are tired. There is a deep weariness in your bones, a quiet ache that no distraction can soothe. This is a sacred weariness. Do not mistake it for a weakness. What if the restlessness you feel is not a flaw, but a compass, its needle finally turning away from the noise of the world and pointing towards your own true north? What if the feeling of being lost is simply the soul's way of telling you that it is time to walk a different path? What if the ache in your heart is not a wound to be healed, but a doorway, patiently waiting for you to turn the handle and step through? This is not a place for learning new facts. It is a space for remembering an ancient truth. It is a process of unlearning the fears, the limitations, and the identities that were never yours to begin with. The words you are about to hear are not meant to be a lecture, but a mirror. They are offered as a frequency, a vibration that might resonate with the part of you that has been waiting, silently, to be heard. This is an invitation to a conversation with the deepest, wisest part of yourself. There is nothing you need to do, nothing you need to achieve, and nothing you need to prove. Your only task is to be still and to listen. Listen for the echo of your own soul. It has been calling for you. Let us begin. You have felt it, haven't you? That quiet, persistent hollowness that visits in the unguarded moments. It might arrive in the silence after the guests have left, or in the first gray light of dawn before the world has put on its face. It is a feeling without a clear shape, a hollowness in the center of your chest, a silent hum of absence where you feel something essential should be. The world has given you many names for this feeling. Boredom, loneliness, melancholy. It has sold you 1,000 cures for it. A new purchase, a new relationship, a new goal, a new screen to stare at. Society is built on a conspiracy to never let you sit with this feeling, to never let you face this vast, silent space within you. You are taught from birth to fill every void. Fill the silence with conversation. Fill the weekend with plans. Fill your mind with information. Fill your life with ambition. The frantic, desperate pace of the modern world is a collective sprint away from this very emptiness you feel. But what if this void is not an enemy? What if it is not a symptom of something broken, but a sign of something sacred beginning to stir? Stop running, just for this moment. Cease the struggle. Let the feeling be here. Do not label it. Do not judge it. Simply allow it to occupy its space. Feel its texture, its temperature, its weight. Your first instinct is to recoil, to pull back. The ego, that part of you which defines itself by names, by roles, by possessions, is terrified of this emptiness. To the ego, the void is a synonym for death. It is the terrifying prospect of not being a someone. It is the ultimate threat. This fear is like standing at the threshold of a vast, dark, and completely empty room. Your mind screams for you to turn away, to find a light switch, to fill the room with familiar furniture, with noise, with anything to prove that it is not, in fact, empty. This room is your own inner space, a space you have been taught to fear and abandon. You have spent a lifetime furnishing it with the thoughts, beliefs, and expectations of others until there was no room left for you. The emptiness you feel now is simply the result of all that foreign furniture being removed. The space remains, and it is waiting. I invite you now to do the one thing you have been trained to avoid. I invite you to step into that room, take a breath, and take a single conscious step across the threshold. Do not fight the darkness. Let it be dark. Let your eyes adjust. Do not fear the silence. Let it be silent. Let your ears adjust. At first, the sensory deprivation is deafening. The mind races, trying to create its own noise, its own light. It will throw memories at you, anxieties, to-do lists, anything to distract from the sheer, unvarnished reality of the space. Let these thoughts come and go like clouds passing in the sky. Do not cling to them. Do not push them away. Your only focus is the space itself, the silence, the stillness. And then, something remarkable begins to happen. As you sit in the quiet darkness, your perception begins to shift. You start to realize that the room is not empty. It is full. It is full of potential. It is full of peace. The absence of noise is not nothingness. It is the presence of silence. The absence of distraction is not a void. It is the presence of stillness. You have been confusing the container with the contents. This space is not a vacuum to be filled. It is a sanctuary to be entered. It is the fertile ground of a fallow field, resting, gathering its strength before the miracle of new life can begin. It is the womb of creation, dark and nourishing, where the seed of your true self is gestating. You have been looking for God in the whirlwind, in the fire, in the earthquake. But the real divinity is found here, in the still, small voice that can only be heard when all else has fallen away. Now, listen. Listen past the frantic chatter of your mind. Listen beneath the rhythm of your own anxious breathing. Listen even deeper than the steady, reassuring beat of your own heart. In the deepest part of the silence, you will begin to perceive something else. It is not a sound, it is more like a resonance, a faint, subtle echo. It is the echo of you, the you that existed before you were given a name, the you that existed before you were told who you should be. It is the echo of your soul. It does not speak in words, not at first. It speaks in feelings, a sudden, inexplicable wave of peace. A deep, quiet longing for something you can't name. A sense of recognition, a feeling of yes that resonates through your entire being. This is the first communication. This is the soul's whisper, echoing in the grand, sacred cathedral of your own inner space. The more you sit in this room, the more you attune your senses to this silence, the clearer the echo becomes. It is the voice of your intuition. It is the pull of your authentic desires. It is the unshakable knowing of your own truth. This emptiness you once feared has become your most trusted oracle. It is the source of all your wisdom, all your creativity, and all your power. It is the place you must return to, again and again, to recalibrate your compass and to remember who you are. So do not be afraid when the void calls to you. It is not trying to consume you, it is trying to welcome you home. As you sit here now, in this stillness, becoming familiar with the echo of your true self, you may also begin to notice something else. You may become aware of a certain weight you are carrying, a heaviness that does not belong in this sacred space. It feels dense, artificial, and out of place against the luminous silence. It is the weight of a costume you have been wearing for so long, you have forgotten you even put it on. It is the pressure of an identity that was crafted for you, not by you. This heavy, clattering thing you have carried into the silence, it is the mask you were given. And now, in the honesty of this quiet space, you can finally begin to see it for what it is. In the absolute honesty of your inner silence, you have felt it, a weight, a solid thing in a space that should be fluid and free. It is the dense, complex structure of the person you have built. It is the grand and sometimes exhausting performance of being you. This is the mask. It was not given to you in a single moment, but rather assembled piece by piece so subtly you never noticed the construction. It began in the tender years of your childhood, not out of malice, but out of a desperate, primal need for love and safety. You were a brilliant, sensitive instrument, and you learned very quickly how to play the tune that made the world around you smile. You learned that being quiet earned you the label good. You learned that correct answers earned you the label smart. You learned that suppressing your tears earned you the label strong. Each of these moments added a thin, translucent layer. A layer of the responsible sibling. A layer of the gifted student. A layer of the one who never causes trouble. Each layer was a small sacrifice of authenticity for the reward of acceptance. It was a shield, and for a time, it served you well. It protected the soft, vulnerable, and true self underneath from a world that did not seem to have a place for it. As you grew, you became a master craftsman of these masks. You now own an entire collection hanging in the hallway of your mind. There is the mask you wear to work, cool, competent, efficient. Its jaw is set with determination. Its eyes are focused. It does not betray the flicker of self-doubt or the deep weariness you feel inside. Then there is the mask of the partner or parent, endlessly patient, compassionate, a wellspring of selfless love. It smiles when it is tired. It gives when it feels empty. It holds everything together, even when it feels like it is falling apart. There is the mask of the friend, agreeable, supportive, always ready with the right advice, but careful never to reveal the true depth of your own struggles, lest you become a burden. Perhaps you even have a spiritual mask, serene, detached, full of wise quotes, a mask that pretends it is no longer affected by the messy, beautiful chaos of being human. Each morning, you walk down this hall and you choose which face to present to the world. The effort of this constant performance, of switching between these roles, is the source of the profound exhaustion that brought you here. You are tired of the acting. You are tired of holding the muscles of your face in a position that does not match the feeling in your heart. The greatest tragedy is not the wearing of the mask, but the forgetting of the face beneath. After years of a flawless performance, the actor begins to merge with the role. The mask, once a tool, begins to fuse to the skin. You look in the mirror and you no longer see a soul, a consciousness experiencing life. You see a project manager, a mother, a son, a survivor. Your identity becomes a collection of labels, a resume of roles you have played, and a terrifying question begins to bubble up from the depths of your being. If I am not my job, if I am not my success, if I am not my usefulness to others, then who am I? This question is the source of a deep existential panic. It is why a job loss can feel like an annihilation. It is why an empty nest can feel like a complete erasure of self. When the role is stripped away, the mask cracks, and you are left staring into that void you so fear, because you have forgotten the living, breathing, and inherently worthy being who exists independent of any performance. You have mistaken the costume for the soul. So what are you to do? Your first instinct might be to tear the mask from your face in a fit of rebellion. But this too is just another violent action, another performance of the one who is breaking free. It is an act of the ego fighting the ego. The mask was not created with force, and it cannot be removed with force. The path to unmasking is not one of violence, but of immense, radical gentleness. The invitation is not to rip it off, but simply to become exquisitely aware of it. Right now, can you feel its weight? Can you feel the subtle tension in your jaw required to maintain the mask of competence? Can you feel the slight ache behind your eyes from holding the mask of stoicism? Can you feel the constriction in your throat when you wear the mask of agreeability, swallowing the words you truly wish to say? Do not judge this. Do not fight this. Simply notice. Your awareness is the first light that creates a separation between you and the mask. In the act of observing it, you are proving to yourself that you are not it. The observer is never the object being observed. This simple, quiet act of noticing is the most powerful revolutionary act you can perform. It is the beginning of remembering. You are the awareness that notices the mask. You are the silence that hears the performance. The mask is held in place by your continuous effort, by your constant doing. It is maintained by the words you speak, the expressions you force, the actions you take to uphold the illusion of the role. It therefore follows that it cannot be removed by more doing. It can only be loosened by its opposite. It is not undone by struggle, but by surrender. It is not pushed off, but allowed to fall. The mask, a construct of action and noise, is dissolved by its antithesis. It is dissolved by a profound and deliberate state of non-performance. It is dissolved by stillness. When you cease to provide the energy that holds it up, it naturally loses its grip. When the actor stops reciting their lines and simply stands on the stage in silence, the character evaporates, and only the person remains. To find the face you have forgotten, you must first enter the currency of stillness. You must become quiet enough and still enough for the mask to finally, gently fall away. You live in a world that worships motion. Busyness is a badge of honor, a synonym for importance. Your value, you have been told, is measured by your output, by the number of tasks you complete, the goals you achieve, the relentless forward momentum you can maintain. Your calendar is a testament to this religion of doing. Your mind is a frantic servant to its demands. You have been conditioned to believe that to be still is to be lazy, to be unproductive, to be left behind. And so you run. You run from the moment you wake, propelled by caffeine and anxiety, chasing a to-do list that never ends. You fill every spare moment with a scroll, a podcast, a plan, anything to avoid the terrifying prospect of an empty space, of a moment of pure, unadulterated being. But this frantic motion, this constant doing, is the very energy that holds your mask in place. It is the performance, and you are exhausted from the show. What if I told you that the most radical, most powerful, and most productive thing you can do right now is to do nothing at all? What if stillness is not an absence, but a presence? What if it is not a luxury, but a necessity? In a world starving for focus and peace, stillness is the new wealth. It is the currency that buys back your soul. To consciously choose stillness is an act of profound rebellion. It is a quiet declaration of independence from the cult of productivity. It is the ultimate act of self-worth, a statement that you are enough right here, right now, without doing anything to prove it. The world will not understand this. It will call you idle. But the soul understands. The soul has been desperate for you to stop, to cease the frantic paddling, and to simply float for a while. Imagine your mind is a deep lake. For years, the storms of life, the winds of expectation, and the constant churning of your own thoughts have stirred up the sediment from the bottom. Your mind water is now murky, cloudy, and opaque. You cannot see what lies beneath the surface. In your desperation for clarity, you have been trying to fix the murky water by stirring it even more. You analyze your thoughts, you wrestle with your anxieties, you try to filter the water with new belief systems and positive affirmations. You are trying to solve the problem of agitation with more agitation. You are trying to think your way to peace, which is like trying to smooth rough water with a flat iron. It is an impossible, exhausting task that only creates more turbulence. Now, consider a different approach. An approach that requires no effort, no struggle, and no force. What if you were to simply sit by the shore of your own mind lake and allow it to be? You do not command the winds to stop. You do not command the sediment to settle. You simply withdraw your energy from the struggle. You let go of the oar. You stop stirring, and you watch. This is the practice of stillness. At first, nothing seems to happen. The water is still cloudy. The habit of agitation is strong. But if you remain, patiently, watchfully, a natural miracle occurs. The laws of nature take over. Gravity begins its gentle, silent work. The heaviest particles of sediment, the big, coarse anxieties and fears, are the first to begin their slow descent. Then, the finer particles, the little worries, the daily chatter, they too begin to drift downwards. It happens on its own, without any doing on your part. Your only job is to not stir the water, and as the particles settle, the water does not become clear. It returns to its natural state of clarity. The light can now penetrate its depths. For the first time in a long time, you can see to the very bottom. Peace is not something you create. It is something you allow by getting out of your own way. Clarity is not something you achieve. It is your fundamental nature, revealed. This is not just a metaphor. It is a direct instruction. The practice of non-doing begins with the body. Find a place where you can be undisturbed and sit or lie down. It does not matter. Give your body permission to be heavy, to be held by the earth. Let go of the subtle tensions you carry, the clenched jaw, the raised shoulders, the tightened stomach. These are the physical manifestations of your resistance to the present moment. Release them. Then, bring your awareness to your breath. Do not try to change it. Do not perform the act of breathing. Simply become the silent observer of the breath moving in and the breath moving out. The breath is your anchor. It is the single point in the universe that is always, unfailingly, in the now. When your mind, like a restless puppy, wanders away into the past or the future, as it will, do not scold it. Gently, kindly, notice where it has gone, and then guide it back to the anchor of the breath. Each time you do this, you are strengthening the muscle of awareness. You are choosing the peace of the present over the chaos of thought. This is the work. It is the practice of letting the sediment settle. The fruits of this practice are immeasurable. In the clarity of the still mind, the echo of your soul becomes a clear voice. The solutions to problems you have been wrestling with for weeks may appear, fully formed, in a flash of effortless insight. A deep creativity, long dormant beneath the noise, begins to bubble to the surface. You will feel a profound sense of peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. It is a peace that comes from within, from the very ground of your being. From this place of stillness, you look upon the mask you have been wearing, and it now appears almost comical in its heaviness, its rigidity. It is so clearly not you. It loses its power over you, not because you fought it, but because you have found a reality within yourself that is infinitely more real and compelling. And as the turbulence of the mind subsides, a new sensitivity awakens. You have quieted the shouting of your thoughts, and now you can begin to hear the whispers. The first and most profound whispers come from the intelligence of your own body. In the stillness, you start to feel it not as a machine that carries your head around, but as a living, breathing, vibrant field of energy and information. You notice the subtle hum in your hands, the warmth in your heart space, the knot of apprehension in your stomach, the expansive feeling of joy in your chest. The body has been speaking to you your entire life, but you were too busy, too lost in the noise of your mind to listen. This body is the earth, the soil, the physical anchor of your soul's experience. It does not lie. It holds your trauma, it holds your joy, and it holds your deepest wisdom. It is your most honest and reliable instrument. It is your compass. And now, in the silence, you can finally learn to read it. For most of your life, you have lived as a king, ruling a vast and beautiful land from a single, isolated tower. This tower is your mind. From this high vantage point, you have spent your years observing, analyzing, planning, and worrying. You have drawn maps, written laws, and spun elaborate stories about the nature of your kingdom. But you have rarely, if ever, descended from the tower to walk the land itself. You have forgotten the feeling of the soil beneath your feet, the scent of the forests, the sound of the rivers. The land is your body. And you have treated it not as the living, breathing source of your existence, but as a vehicle, a chauffeur whose only job is to transport the tower of your mind from one place to another. You have ignored its pleas for rest, numbed its signals with distractions, and punished it for its limitations. You have lived as a ghost in your own house. The mind, this tower, is a master storyteller. It can justify any action, rationalize any fear, and construct a coherent narrative around even your most self-destructive habits. It is the architect of the mask. It lives in the phantom realms of the past and the future, weaving tales of regret and anxiety. The body, however, is incapable of such deception. It is a creature of pure, unadulterated honesty. It lives only and always in the present moment. It cannot be anywhere but here, now. It does not tell stories, it speaks truths, and its language is not words, but sensation. To reclaim your kingdom, you must descend from the tower of thought and learn to speak the native tongue of the land. This language is simpler than you imagine. It operates on a fundamental spectrum of expansion and contraction. This is the body's binary code for yes and no, for safe and unsafe, for true and false. Contraction is the body's no. Think of a time you were forced to do something that felt deeply wrong for you. Where did you feel it? It was a knot in your stomach, a tightness in your throat that made it hard to speak, a clenching in your jaw, a subtle tension across your shoulders. Your breath became shallow, your energy pulled inward, creating a dense, protective shield. This is the physical signature of resistance, of misalignment, of untruth. Your body was screaming no even as your mind was telling you to comply, to be agreeable, to not make waves. It was giving you a clear, unambiguous signal, and you were trained to ignore it in favor of the story in your head. Now, think of a moment of genuine, uninhibited joy. A moment of deep connection with a person you love, or a breathtaking view in nature. Where did you feel that? It was a warmth that spread through your chest, a feeling of lightness, of openness. Your shoulders relaxed, your breath became deep and easy. Your solar plexus felt soft and radiant. This is the body's yes. It is the physical signature of resonance, of alignment, of truth. This feeling of expansion is the feeling of your soul expressing itself freely through the vessel of your body. This simple, powerful feedback system is your inner compass. The needle is this felt sense of expansion or contraction. It is the most reliable guide you will ever have, for it is impervious to the deceptions of your own mind and the manipulations of the outside world. The mind can be convinced of anything, but the body knows. From now on, before making a decision, I invite you to perform a simple experiment. Instead of weighing pros and cons in the tower of your mind, drop your awareness down into the land of your body. Take a deep breath and present the first option to yourself. Imagine you have already said yes to it. Now, be still and feel. What is the immediate visceral response? Is there a subtle tightening anywhere? A feeling of dread, however small? A sense of your energy shrinking? That is the compass needle pointing away. That is a no. Then, release that option, take another breath, and present the second option. Imagine it is now your reality. What happens now? Is there a sense of relief? A subtle opening in your chest? A feeling of rightness, even if it scares your mind? That is the compass needle pointing toward your true north. That is a yes. The true signal is often the very first one, the subtle, instantaneous flicker of sensation that occurs before the mind has time to jump in with its arguments, its fears, and its rationalizations. Learning to trust this first, quiet signal over the loud shouting of your thoughts is the practice of becoming embodied. It is the art of letting your soul, via your body, lead the way. As you practice this deep listening, you will discover that your body is not just a compass, but also a living archive. It is a library of every experience you have ever had, every emotion you have ever felt, the traumas you never processed, the grief you never allowed yourself to cry, the anger you were told was unacceptable. These things did not simply vanish. They became encoded in your physiology. They are stored as chronic tension in your muscles, as knots in your fascia, as patterns of shallow breathing. That persistent ache in your lower back may be the physical residue of old financial insecurity. The tightness in your hips may be the stored fear from a past relationship. The clench in your jaw may be a lifetime of unspoken words. Your body is a sacred landscape, and every sensation is a clue, a piece of your own personal archaeology. You do not need to analyze it or even fully understand its origin. The first step is simply to be with it, to bring the gentle, loving light of your awareness to these sore, forgotten places, to acknowledge the pain it has been holding for you on your behalf for so very long. By turning your attention inward, by honoring the wisdom of this physical vessel, you are performing a profound act of self-love. You are saying to your body, I am here with you now. I am listening. I am ready to feel. And as you sit in this space of compassionate awareness, as you become intimately familiar with the landscape of your own stored pain, an inevitable and natural desire will arise from the depths of your being. As you feel the true weight of the dense, heavy armor you have been carrying for decades, a question will form in your heart, a question born not of frustration, but of a deep longing for freedom. The question is, how? How do I set this down? How can I let this go? This very question is the key that unlocks the next gate. Your awareness of the burden creates the authentic desire to be free of it. And this desire is the prerequisite for the most liberating practice of all, the gentle art of releasing. You have become aware of the burdens you carry. In the quiet of your own being, you have felt the dense knots of old pain stored in your body, the heavy weight of the masks you have worn. And the natural, intelligent question has arisen from your soul. How do I let this go? Listen closely, for the answer is a paradox, a whisper against the storm of everything you have been taught. The world has taught you that achievement comes through effort, that problems are solved by force. So when you approach the task of letting go, you treat it as another project to be managed, another battle to be won. You clench your jaw and say, I will forgive them. You brace yourself and command, I must release this anger. You are trying to use the tools of tension to create a state of release. You are trying to fight your way to peace, and it has never worked. It has only left you more exhausted, more frustrated, feeling like a failure for being unable to simply get over it. This is because release is not an act of will. It is not something you do. It is something you undo. True release is not a feat of strength. It is an act of total surrender. Imagine, right now, that you are clenching your right hand into a tight, hard fist. Squeeze it. Feel the tension in your knuckles, the strain in your forearm, the energy it takes to maintain that clench. Imagine that inside this fist you are holding a small, sharp stone. This stone is your pain, your grievance, your resentment. For years, you have been holding it like this, believing that your tight grip gives you some kind of control, that it validates the wrong that was done. But all it has done is make your own hand ache. It has made your arm tired. It has consumed your energy, day after day. Now, you decide you want to be free of the stone. What do? Do you use your other hand to pry the fingers open? Do you command the fist to unlock itself? That is, just more struggle, more tension. The way to release the stone is simply to stop clenching. The release is not another action, it is the cessation of the original action. You simply stop. You withdraw the energy that was creating the tension. You give your hand permission to do what it naturally wants to do, which is to be open. Feel it now. Make the conscious decision to unclench. Notice how the muscles obey. The fingers uncurl one by one. The tension dissolves. The palm opens. And the stone, without any effort of throwing it away, simply falls from your hand, its weight no longer yours to carry. This is the gentle art of releasing. Your emotional pain is the stone. Your resistance, your rumination, your mental storytelling about the pain is the clenched fist. To let go is simply to stop the act of resisting. It is to unclench the mind and the heart. So let us practice this now. Not as a mental concept, but as a felt reality. Bring to your awareness one of those knots you have discovered in your body, one of those persistent, difficult emotions. Perhaps it is a tightness in your chest related to an old grief, or a fiery heat in your stomach from a long-held anger. Your lifelong habit is to either distract yourself from it or to fight it. Today, we will do neither. We will try the radical act of allowing, Instead of pushing it away, I invite you to open to it. Give this sensation, this energy, your full permission to be here, just for this moment. Do not be afraid. It cannot harm you. It is simply old, trapped energy that wants to move. Breathe into it. Imagine your breath is a wave of warm, compassionate awareness. On the inhale, you acknowledge the sensation. I see you. I feel you. On the exhale, you soften around it. You unclench. You create space for it. Do not attach a story to it. Do not get lost in the mental drama of who did what and why. The story is the clenching. Stay with the raw, physical sensation itself. Where is it located? Does it have a shape, a color, a texture? Does it vibrate, or is it dense and still? By observing it in this way, with detached, loving curiosity, you are separating yourself from it. You are the spacious awareness in which the emotion is occurring, not the emotion itself. You are the open hand, not the stone. And what happens when an energy is finally seen, felt, and allowed, without resistance? It begins to do what all energy is meant to do. It begins to move. It may intensify for a moment, like a wave cresting. And this is where you must be courageous and stay present. Stay open, breathe, and then it will begin to dissipate. It will soften, dissolve, and flow out of your system, its life cycle finally complete. It was never asking you to destroy it. It was only ever asking you to feel it, so it could be free. You can aid this process with your body. As you exhale, let out a gentle, audible sigh. The sigh is the body's natural signal of release. It tells the nervous system that it is safe to let go. You can visualize the heavy, dense energy flowing down through your body, out through the soles of your feet, and into the compassionate embrace of the earth, which knows how to transmute all energy. You can place a hand on the part of your body where you feel the sensation, a simple gesture of comfort and presence that says, I am here with you. These are not techniques to force the release. They are acts of permission. They are ways of signaling to your own being that you are surrendering the fight. You are unclenching the fist. And what happens when you finally open your hand and the stone falls away? At first, there is simply an absence of weight, an absence of the familiar, painful pressure. This absence is not empty. It is spacious. It is light. You have not just dropped a stone. You have reclaimed the vast amount of energy you were using to hold on to it. This is more than a psychological shift. It is a physical, energetic transformation. You have literally shed density from your being. The heavy, low vibration energy of resentment, grief, and anger has been replaced by the lighter, higher vibration quality of spaciousness and peace. Your entire energetic signature begins to change. The instrument of your soul, once dampened by the heavy weight of old pain, can now resonate more freely. It begins to hum at a new pitch. By releasing what was, you create the space for what can be. You have cleared the channel. And now, you can begin to become aware of the new song that your being is starting to sing. You can become aware of the fundamental frequency of your own existence. You have uncurled your fist and let the stone of old pain fall away. In its place, there is a newfound lightness, a quiet space. This space is not empty. It is humming with a new potential. To understand what is happening now, you must be willing to gently set aside your perception of the world as a collection of solid, separate objects. Modern physics and ancient mysticism have always agreed on one profound truth. Everything you see, everything you touch, everything you are, is, in its most fundamental state, pure energy, vibrating at different speeds. The chair you are sitting on is not truly solid. It is a whirling dance of atoms, a cloud of energy vibrating at a frequency so slow that it appears solid to your senses. The light filtering through your window is energy vibrating at a much faster frequency. The sound of these words reaching you is a vibration carried through the air. You do not live in a static world of things. You live, breathe, and exist within a vast, dynamic, and intelligent ocean of vibrating energy. And you, yourself, are not separate from this ocean. You are a wave within it. You are not a solid, fixed entity. You are a luminous, fluctuating field of energy. Your body is a denser, slower vibration, but your thoughts, your beliefs, and most importantly, your emotions are also forms of energy. They are finer, faster, and more fluid vibrations that emanate from you constantly. Think of yourself not as a body that has a soul, but as a soul that has a body. You are a center of consciousness, a field of awareness, broadcasting a unique energetic signature into the universe in every single moment. This signature, this personal energetic broadcast, is what can be called your frequency. It is the sum total of the vibrations you are currently holding and emitting. And this is the most important truth you will ever embrace. The universe does not respond to your wishes, your hopes, or your demands. It responds with flawless, impersonal precision to the frequency you are broadcasting. Imagine you are a living radio tower. Your heart is the transmitter. Your emotional state is the signal you are sending out. You cannot broadcast the frequency of a somber funeral dirge and expect to tune into the station that is playing a joyful symphony. It is a physical impossibility. The law of the universe is not truly the law of attraction, as if you are pulling things toward you. It is the law of resonance. Resonance means to resound with, to vibrate in harmony with something else. A tuning fork vibrating at a specific note will cause another tuning fork of the same note across the room to vibrate in sympathy, while all other tuning forks remain silent. In the same way, your being, vibrating at the frequency of your dominant emotional state, can only resonate with, perceive, and experience people, events, and circumstances that are a vibrational match. You do not get what you want. You get what you are. Let us explore the spectrum of these emotional frequencies, the music of your being. At the lowest end of the scale are the dense, heavy, slow vibrations. These are the bass notes of human experience. Shame is perhaps the densest frequency of all. It is the feeling of being flawed, unworthy, and separate from all that is good. It is a heavy, smothering vibration that makes you want to hide, to become invisible. Guilt is similar, a frequency that replays a past action over and over, binding your energy to what has been. Fear is a jagged, chaotic, and contractive frequency. When you are broadcasting fear, your energy field pulls in tightly, and you perceive the world as a dangerous, threatening place. You will resonate with news stories, conversations, and situations that validate this sense of threat. Anger is a hot, explosive, and turbulent frequency. While it has more energy than fear or shame, it is still a vibration of resistance and separation, one that looks for conflict and injustice to feed itself. Living in these lower frequencies is exhausting, for it takes a tremendous amount of life force to maintain these dense, incoherent vibrations. It is like trying to swim through tar. Moving up the scale, we find the frequencies of courage and willingness. Courage is the frequency that allows you to face the lower energies without being consumed by them. It is the powerful decision to stop running and to begin the work of releasing. Willingness is an open, receptive frequency, the state of saying yes to growth, even when it is uncomfortable. These are the crucial bridge frequencies that lift you out of the tar and into clearer waters. And above these, we find the high, light, and coherent frequencies. These are the soaring harmonics of the soul. Gratitude is one of the fastest and most powerful ways to tune your frequency. It is not merely thinking of things to be thankful for. It is the embodied feeling of appreciation. Gratitude is a harmonious magnetic frequency. It shifts your entire being from a state of lack to a state of sufficiency. And by the law of resonance, a state of sufficiency can only attract more experiences that confirm it. Love, true unconditional love, is the highest frequency of all. It is not the needy, grasping emotion of popular songs. It is the warm, expansive, and radiant energy that flows from a heart connected to its source. When you are vibrating with love, you see the divine in everything and everyone. You resonate with kindness, compassion, and connection. And then there is peace. Peace is the silent, foundational hum of the universe itself. It is the frequency of pure being. It is not the absence of noise, but the presence of a deep, unshakable stillness. This is the frequency of your true nature. You experience all of these emotions, but you have a home frequency, an emotional set point that you tend to return to. This is the result of your habitual thoughts, your deepest beliefs, and the unprocessed emotions stored in your body. The work of this journey is to consciously, deliberately, raise that home frequency. This is what it means to evolve. You do this not by fighting the lower frequencies, but by choosing to cultivate the higher ones. This is why the art of releasing was so crucial. By letting go of the dense stones of resentment and grief, you naturally became lighter. Your frequency automatically began to rise. Now, you can take a more active role in the process. You are not a helpless victim of your emotions. You are the conductor of your own energetic orchestra. You can learn to consciously choose the music you play. How do you tune your instrument? You begin with the body. Your posture is a direct expression of your frequency. Simply standing or sitting up straight, pulling your shoulders back, opening your chest, and lifting your chin sends a powerful signal of confidence and openness to your nervous system. Take a deep, conscious breath. Deep breathing instantly calms the chaotic frequency of fear and returns you to the peaceful hum of the present moment. Smile. Even a forced smile begins to shift the neural pathways in your brain towards the frequency of joy. You are using the physical to influence the energetic. You can also use your imagination, the most powerful tool you possess. The mind does not know the difference between a real and a vividly imagined experience. If you desire to experience more peace, do not chase after it in the external world. Sit quietly and feel the feeling of peace in your body right now. Imagine what it would feel like to be utterly serene. Let that warmth, that stillness, that spaciousness fill every cell of your being. By generating the feeling first, you are broadcasting the signal of peace now. You are becoming the tuning fork, and by the law of resonance, the universe must bring you circumstances that match that vibration. This is the secret behind all manifestation. It is not about wanting something. Wanting is a frequency of lack. It is about becoming a vibrational match to that which you desire. If you desire love, you must become the embodiment of love. If you desire abundance, you must cultivate the feeling of gratitude and sufficiency. You must broadcast the signal of the reality you wish to inhabit before it has physically appeared. You attune yourself to the station you wish to listen to, and you hold your tuner steady on that frequency. You do this through moments of conscious gratitude, through mindful breathing, through immersing yourself in nature, through listening to music that uplifts you, and through choosing thoughts that feel expansive and good. You are a broadcast tower, sending out a signal of fear, or a signal of love, a signal of lack, or a signal of gratitude. The universe, like a flawless receiver, simply plays back the song you are transmitting. This is not a punishment or a reward. It is physics. It is the fundamental law of creation. This understanding moves you from a position of victimhood to one of supreme creative power. You are no longer at the mercy of a random world. You are the energetic center of your own experience. But how do you know, with certainty, what frequency you are truly broadcasting? The mind can be deceptive. You might think you are feeling peaceful while a deep current of anxiety runs underneath. How do you get an honest, objective reading of your signal? You simply have to look at the feedback. You have to observe what is being sent back to you. You must learn to look at your life, your relationships, your challenges, and your triumphs as a perfect reflection of your inner state. You must be willing to see the world as your mirror. You have begun to understand that you are an energetic being, broadcasting a frequency that shapes your reality. This is a profound step into your creative power. But a crucial question remains. How do you get an honest reading of the signal you are sending? The mind is a brilliant trickster. It will tell you that you are broadcasting peace while your body is humming with anxiety. It will insist you are vibrating with abundance while your heart is clenched in a fist of lack. To get the truth, you need an objective, unfailingly honest feedback system. You already have one. It is the world you perceive around you. The people, the circumstances, the very texture of your daily life are not happening to you. They are happening for you. Your life is not a random series of events. It is a perfect, living mirror, reflecting the totality of your own consciousness back to you in every moment. This is perhaps the most difficult and the most liberating truth you will ever encounter. We are raised in the great illusion of separation. We believe in a world out there that is separate from our world in here. We see other people as independent actors, making their own choices that then impact us. From this perspective, you are a victim of circumstance. You can be hurt by others, you can be a casualty of bad luck, you can be wronged by an unfair world. This viewpoint is the source of all blame, resentment, and feelings of powerlessness. The mirror principle shatters this illusion. It invites you to adopt a radical new perspective. There is no out there. Everything you experience is a projection of your inner state. Imagine your consciousness is a film projector. Your beliefs, your memories, your fears, your joys, and your unprocessed emotions are the images on the film. The world is the blank screen. The people and situations you encounter are the images from your film projected onto the screen. When a frightening character appears on the screen, the untrained response is to shout at the screen, to try and reason with the character, to throw things at the image. But it is all useless. The image is just light and shadow. To change the story, you must change the film in the projector. You must go within. The most powerful and often most challenging reflections come to you through other people. The people in your life are not solid, separate entities. They are sacred messengers, divine actors playing a role in the movie of your life, designed to show you something about yourself. Pay close attention to the people who trigger you. The person at work whose arrogance drives you to distraction. The family member whose victim mentality infuriates you. The friend whose flakiness makes you feel disrespected. These people are not your enemies. They are your greatest gurus, your most dedicated spiritual teachers, sent to you with a precise and urgent message. They are mirrors showing you a part of yourself that you have refused to see. This disowned part of you is often called your shadow. It is the collection of all the traits you deemed unacceptable in yourself, likely at a very young age, and therefore repressed into the unconscious. Because this energy cannot be destroyed, it must be projected outward onto others so that you can finally see it and integrate it. Let us do the work now. Bring to mind someone who consistently provokes a strong negative reaction in you. Get a clear image of them. Now, identify the specific trait that irritates you the most. Is it their need to control everything? Their perceived laziness? Their dishonesty? Their emotional neediness? Hold that quality in your mind. Now, with immense courage and absolute self-honesty, ask yourself this question. Where, in my own life, do I exhibit a version of that same quality? Or, where have I so violently repressed that quality in myself that I cannot stand to see it in another? This requires a subtle and deep inquiry. If you are triggered by someone's arrogance, is it because you have disowned your own ambition and power, believing it is unspiritual to be proud of your talents? By making yourself small, you are enraged when you see someone else standing in their full power, even if they do so imperfectly. If you are infuriated by someone's victimhood, is it because you have a deep, unacknowledged part of you that feels helpless, a part you have denied by wearing a mask of hyper-competence and strength? The other person's behavior simply scrapes against your own unhealed wound. The intensity of your emotional charge is the clue. The stronger your reaction to a trait in someone else, the more certain it is that the mirror is showing you something vital about your own hidden self. Seeing this does not excuse their behavior, but it liberates you from your reaction to it. You realize the issue was never truly about them, it was always about you. This mirror, however, does not only reflect your shadow, it also reflects your light. Think of a person you deeply admire, someone you look up to as a role model or mentor. List the qualities you admire in them: their wisdom, their courage, their creativity, their boundless compassion. Now, understand this truth. You would not be able to recognize these qualities in them if the seed of those same qualities did not already exist within you. This is your golden shadow, your own unacknowledged potential, your magnificence projected onto another. You see your own future self in them. The admiration you feel is your soul recognizing its own capacity for greatness. To see the courage in another is to activate the courage within yourself. To see the wisdom in a teacher is to awaken your own inner guru. Stop placing these people on a pedestal above you. See them as equals, as mirrors reflecting the beautiful possibilities that are dormant within your own being, waiting for you to claim them. To embrace this practice of seeing the world as your mirror is to take complete and total responsibility for your life. It means giving up the seductive comfort of blame and victimhood forever. It is the ultimate act of spiritual maturity, and it is not always easy. To look honestly into the mirror, to see it reflect your deepest insecurities, your ugliest prejudices, your most painful wounds, requires a warrior's heart. When the mirror shows you a part of your own shadow, it will hurt. You will feel the sting of shame, the fire of anger, the chill of fear. Your first instinct will be to turn away, to shatter the mirror, to blame the messenger. But if you can stay, if you can bear to look, if you can hold that painful reflection with compassion, you will have found the exact place where your healing lies. This pain is not a punishment. It is a signpost. It is the X that marks the spot where your treasure is buried. The pain itself is not the problem. It is the doorway. It is the sacred, raw material that, if you learn how to work with it, can be transformed from the lead of suffering into the gold of wisdom. It is the catalyst for the great work of spiritual alchemy. You have looked into the mirror of the world and seen the reflection of your own wounds. You have felt the sharp, undeniable sting of truth as the light of your awareness touched upon the disowned and hidden parts of yourself. This feeling, this sting, is pain. And in the face of pain, your entire being has been conditioned to do one of three things: fight it, flee from it, or freeze in its presence. You fight it with anger and blame, creating stories of injustice that fuel your resistance. You flee from it through endless distractions, seeking numbness in work, entertainment, or addiction. Or you freeze, becoming paralyzed by the fear that the pain will consume you, resigning yourself to a life of quiet suffering. All of these strategies are born from one fundamental misunderstanding: the belief that pain is your enemy. You see it as a cosmic mistake, a punishment for some failing, a sign that your life has gone terribly wrong. But what if this is the greatest lie you have ever been told? What if pain is not a curse but a sacred messenger? What if it is not a sign of your brokenness but the primary catalyst for your becoming whole? The ancient alchemists, in their secret laboratories, dreamed of turning lead into gold. The uninitiated believed this was a quest for material wealth. But the true mystics knew the work was an allegory for the transformation of the human soul. They knew that one cannot achieve the luminous, incorruptible state of gold without first working with the dense, heavy, and toxic nature of lead. In the great alchemy of your own consciousness, pain is your lead. It is the raw, base, and unavoidable material of spiritual growth. Your suffering is not the pain itself. Your suffering is your resistance to the pain. It is your argument with reality, your desperate wish that the pain was not there. The alchemical process begins the moment you cease your argument and turn to face the lead with courage and curiosity. The compassionate, non-judgmental attention you bring to your pain is the alchemical fire. It is the heat that does not destroy, but transforms. There is a miracle that occurs in the deep ocean, inside the humble oyster. When a grain of sand, an irritant, a wound forces its way inside the oyster's soft tissue, the oyster does not have the ability to expel it. It cannot fight it or flee from it. It must, out of necessity, begin a process of transformation. It begins to coat the sharp, painful intruder with layer upon layer of a luminous, iridescent substance called nacre. Over years of this patient, persistent process of coating the wound with beauty, a pearl is formed. The pearl, one of nature's most prized gems, would not exist without the initial, unwelcome wound. Your soul is this oyster. Your pain, your trauma, your heartbreak, these are the grains of sand. Your compassionate awareness is the nacre. When you refuse to be with your pain, the grain of sand simply remains a source of irritation, a festering wound. But when you learn to meet your pain with a soft, allowing, and loving presence, you begin to coat it with the nacre of wisdom, compassion, and resilience. You are not destroying the pain, you are transforming it into a pearl of immeasurable value. Your deepest wounds hold the potential for your greatest beauty. So how does one practice this sacred alchemy? How do you sit in the fire or coat the grain of sand? The instruction is simple in its wording, yet it requires all the courage you can muster. You must learn to be with your pain. The next time a wave of emotional pain arises, be it grief, fear, shame, or the sting of a fresh rejection, I invite you to try a new way. First, drop the story. The mind will immediately want to weave a narrative. This always happens to me. I can't believe they said that. This feeling will never end. The story is the mind's resistance, its attempt to make sense of and control the raw energy. Gently, let the story go. Bring your attention out of your head and into your body. Locate the pain as a pure, physical sensation. Where does it live? Is it a tightness in your throat, a hollowness in your chest, a fire in your belly? Approach it like a gentle scientist. Is it hot or cold? Is it sharp or dull? Does it have a color or a texture? Does it vibrate? By observing the raw sensation without the narrative, you strip the pain of much of its power. You see it for what it is. Simply a strong energy moving through your body. Now, breathe into it. Our instinct is to hold our breath and tense our muscles against pain, trapping it in our system. The alchemical approach is to do the opposite. Consciously direct your breath towards the location of the pain. Imagine your inhale is carrying pure, liquid light and spaciousness right into the heart of the contracted energy. Imagine your exhale is allowing the sensation to soften, to spread, to have more room. You are not trying to push it away. You are making it welcome. You are meeting it, greeting it, and then, in the sanctuary of your own heart, you can ask the pain a question, not, "Why is this happening to me?" which is a question from the victim. Ask, with genuine curiosity, "What are you here to teach me?" Or, "What is the pearl you are trying to create in me?" Do not strain for an answer. Just ask the question and listen in the silence. The answer may come as a sudden insight, a long-forgotten memory, a wave of a different emotion, or simply a profound sense of peace as the energy, having finally been heard, begins to dissolve. This practice, repeated over time, is what turns the lead of your life into gold. The gold is not a life free from pain. The gold is the wisdom, compassion, and strength that are forged in the fire. The wisdom is the clear understanding of what is out of alignment in your life. For pain is a brutally honest compass. The compassion is the result of your heart breaking open, not breaking apart. Once you have truly honored your own deep pain, you can never again be indifferent to the suffering of another. You become a healing presence in the world. And the strength is the discovery of a resilience you never knew you possessed. You learn that you are vast enough to contain any storm. This leads to the most profound discovery of all. When you stay in the alchemical fire, when you hold your presence steady through the intensity of the pain, you notice something miraculous. The parts of you that are false begin to burn away. Your egoic identity, your masks, your limiting beliefs, your stories of victimhood, they are all flammable. They cannot withstand the pure, honest heat of this level of presence. They turn to ash. But you, the watcher, the awareness that is noticing the pain and the fire, you do not burn. You are untouched. You are the silent, steady, fireproof presence in which the entire drama unfolds. As the superficial layers of your personality are stripped away by the challenges of your life, you do not find a void. You find a substance. You discover a part of your being that is absolute, eternal, and utterly indestructible. You come face to face with your unbreakable core. You have walked through the fire of your own pain. You have sat with it, breathed into it, and allowed its transformative heat to burn away all that was not essential. In that sacred process, you made the most important discovery of your entire life. You found that as the masks of your personality turned to ash, as the stories of your ego were consumed by the flames, something remained. You remained. Not the you that has a name and a history, not the you that worries about the future, but a silent, steady, witnessing presence. A presence that was aware of the pain but was not the pain itself. A presence that was aware of the fire but was not burned. This is the great secret, the treasure hidden in plain sight. For your entire life, you have been suffering from a case of mistaken identity. You have believed that you are the fleeting contents of your experience, when in fact, you are the eternal context in which all experience happens. Imagine your life is a vast and turbulent ocean. The surface is a constant dance of change. There are gentle, sunlit ripples of joy, deep swells of sadness, choppy waves of anxiety, and terrifying storm-tossed waves of anger and grief. For your entire life, you have identified yourself as one single fragile wave. You have lived in constant fear of the other waves, battling to stay afloat, terrified of the inevitable moment when you will crash upon the shore and cease to exist. You have spent all your energy trying to control the weather on the surface of your own being, an exhausting and impossible task. This is the source of all your struggle. Now, I invite you to entertain a revolutionary possibility. You are not the wave. You have never been the wave. You are the entire ocean. Feel into this for a moment. Below the chaotic surface, there are the silent middle depths, and then the abyss. The deepest parts of the ocean are utterly still, unmoved, and at peace, regardless of the hurricane raging on the surface. This silent, immeasurable depth is your true nature. It is your unbreakable core. It contains all the waves, the joy, the sorrow, the peace, the pain, but it is not defined by them. It is not touched by them. The wave of anger can pass through the ocean, but it cannot harm the ocean. The storm of grief can rage, but it cannot wound the fundamental substance of the water. By identifying with the ocean rather than the wave, you do not eliminate the waves of life, but you no longer fear them. You find a place of unshakable peace within yourself that is always present, no matter the weather. Let us make this more direct. Let us use another ancient metaphor. Your mind, with its endless stream of thoughts, feelings, and sensations, is like the sky filled with clouds and weather. The clouds are constantly changing. Some are white and fluffy, beautiful to look at. These are your happy thoughts, your moments of joy. Some are dark and heavy, filled with rain and lightning. These are your sad thoughts, your fears, your moments of pain. You have spent your life believing you are one of these clouds, drifting at the mercy of the wind, celebrating when you are white and fluffy, despairing when you are dark and stormy. But look closer. What is it that is aware of all the clouds? What is the constant, unchanging element in which all weather appears? It is the sky itself. You are not the cloud. You are the sky. Let us test this. Right now, a thought is appearing in your mind. It might be a thought about these words, or a thought about what you need to do later. Notice that thought. Observe its shape, its texture. Now, let it go. another thought will appear. You are able to watch this parade of thoughts, one after another. So, are you the thoughts themselves? Or are you the silent, spacious awareness in which the thoughts appear and disappear? A thought is a fleeting cloud, but you are the vast, open sky that allows all clouds to pass without being stained or scarred by them. Now, a feeling arises in your body. Perhaps it is a feeling of peace, or perhaps one of restlessness. Feel it fully. Are you that feeling? Or are you the changeless presence that is able to experience the feeling of peace and then later experience the feeling of restlessness without becoming either one? The feeling is a weather pattern, here for a moment, then gone. You are the ever-present sky. A sound reaches your ears. A sensation of warmth or cold touches your skin. You are aware of these things. Are you the sound? Are you the sensation? Number? You are the awareness that perceives them. Anything that you can observe, any thought, any feeling, any sensation, any memory, any object, cannot be who you truly are. It is an object appearing in your field of perception. You are the ultimate subject. You are the perceiver. You are the silent, spacious, sky-like awareness. This awareness is your unbreakable core. Take a moment to feel its qualities. It has no name. It has no age. It has no gender. It has no past and no future. It is utterly silent. It is profoundly still. It is inherently, unconditionally peaceful. This peace is not something you need to acquire. It is the very substance of your being, revealed when you stop identifying with the noise of your mind. Nothing has ever happened to this core. It witnessed your childhood traumas without being traumatized. It witnessed your greatest successes without becoming arrogant. It has witnessed every moment of pain and every moment of joy with the same steady, unmoved, and loving presence. No word can harm it. No event can scar it. It is pristine, untouched, and invulnerable. It was here before your first thought, and it will be here after your last. This is the I am that the mystics speak of. It is the kingdom of heaven within you. It is the Buddha nature. It is the Christ consciousness. It is your true self. When you begin to identify with this core, your relationship with life is revolutionized. The desperate need for the world to be a certain way begins to dissolve, because you have found a place within you that is already perfect and at peace, regardless of external circumstances. You stop trying to manipulate the waves because you know you are the ocean. You stop fearing the clouds because you know you are the sky. This is the ultimate freedom, and from this deep recognition, a new understanding dawns. The feeling of being broken, of being flawed, of needing to be fixed, all belong to the character in the story, the wave on the surface, the cloud in the sky. But you have remembered who you truly are, and this unbreakable core, this silent, spacious awareness, it has never been broken, it has never been damaged, it has never for a single moment been anything less than utterly and completely perfect. You are not a broken person on a journey to become whole. You are a whole and perfect being, remembering the truth of who you have always been. You are already whole. You have stood in the alchemical fire and discovered the truth. You have felt the storms on the surface of your being and realized that you are the deep, silent ocean. You have watched the clouds of thought and emotion drift through the sky of your mind and recognized yourself not as the fleeting weather, but as the vast, eternal sky. This recognition of your unbreakable core is the single most profound shift in consciousness a human being can experience. And it leads to a conclusion so simple, so radical, and so liberating that the mind, with all its complexities, will struggle to accept it. The conclusion is this: you were never broken. There is nothing to fix. You are, and have always been, already whole. From the moment you were born, you were immersed in the great myth of the broken self. Society, marketing, and even well-meaning educational and religious systems are often built upon the subtle, pervasive premise that you are not enough as you are. You were told you needed to be smarter, stronger, richer, thinner, kinder, more productive, more enlightened. You were handed a blueprint for a better you and told that your happiness and worth were contingent upon achieving it. Your entire life has been a project of self-improvement, a relentless striving to fix your perceived flaws and fill your supposed voids. This project is the primary activity of the ego. The ego, your sense of a separate personal self, thrives on problems. It needs a past to regret and a future to strive for. The story of, "I am a broken person on a journey to become whole," is the ego's favorite narrative, for it guarantees its own survival and gives it a noble purpose. To realize your inherent wholeness is to lovingly dismantle the ego's central purpose, and to step into a reality it cannot comprehend. Imagine that at the center of your being, you are a magnificent, flawless statue made of 24-karat gold. This golden statue is your true nature, your unbreakable core. It is perfect, luminous, and eternally valuable. Now imagine that from the moment you were born, the world began to throw mud at this statue. The mud of your parents' fears and unfulfilled dreams. The mud of your teachers' limiting beliefs. The mud of painful childhood experiences and traumas. The mud of cultural conditioning about who you should be. Over the years, layer upon layer of this mud has caked onto the statue, hiding the gold beneath. One day, you look at yourself and see only the muddy, cracked, and misshapen exterior. You conclude, quite logically, "I am a mud statue. I am flawed. I am ugly. I am broken." And so you begin the exhausting work of trying to fix the mud. You try to paint it, to make it look more appealing. You try to chip away at it with discipline, or smooth it over with positive thinking. This is the struggle of self-improvement. But you are not a mud statue. You have only mistaken the mud for who you are. The spiritual journey is not about trying to improve the mud. It is the gentle, patient, and loving process of washing the mud away. The practices of stillness, of feeling your pain, of observing your thoughts without judgment. These are the warm water and soft cloth that dissolve the hardened layers of conditioning and reveal the pristine, untouched, golden magnificence that has been there in its entirety all along. You are not creating the gold, you are simply revealing it. This changes the entire nature of the journey. It is no longer a journey of becoming, but one of remembering. It is not a process of addition, where you must gain new skills, new knowledge, or new spiritual qualities to finally be worthy. It is a process of subtraction. It is the courageous letting go of all the beliefs, identities, and defenses that are not you. You are not building a new house. You are clearing out the clutter from the perfect mansion you already inhabit. Every time you allow a painful feeling to pass without resistance, you are washing away a layer of mud. Every time you notice a limiting thought and choose not to believe it, you are washing away a layer of mud. Every time you let go of the need for someone else's approval, you are washing away a layer of mud. You do not need to do anything, achieve anything, or prove anything to be whole. Your wholeness is not conditional. It is the absolute, unconditional fact of your existence. Your worth is not earned through your actions. It is inherent in your being. As this truth begins to settle into your bones, a profound relaxation will occur throughout your entire nervous system. The frantic, anxious striving begins to cease. The desperate chase for a future state of perfection gives way to a deep appreciation for the present moment. The need for external validation withers away because you have found the source of infinite worth within yourself. You stop comparing your journey to others. How can you compare a rose to a star? Both are perfect and unique expressions of the same universal intelligence. Your expression of wholeness, with all its unique quirks and life lessons, is just as valid and beautiful as anyone else's. The fear of failure loses its terrifying grip. A mistake is no longer proof of your inherent brokenness. It is simply part of the human experience, an opportunity to learn, an interesting texture in the unfolding story of your life. You begin to treat yourself with a kindness and compassion that were previously impossible, because you were always judging yourself against an imagined standard of perfection. Now you see that the standard was the illusion, and your true nature was the perfection all along. This realization is the great turning point. It is the foundation upon which a new life is built. For your entire life, your motivations have likely sprung from a sense of lack. I need a partner to complete me. I need this career to feel successful. I need to meditate more to become peaceful. You have been using the world as a hardware store, trying to find the missing pieces to fix your broken self. But now you know, with a certainty that goes deeper than thought, that you are not broken. There are no missing pieces. You are already complete. You are already whole. So what now? What happens when a being who knows they are whole begins to act in the world? They no longer act from a place of need, but from a place of overflow. They no longer create from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. They no longer love in order to get love, but because they are love. The dynamic shifts entirely, from one of passive victimhood to one of active joy. You are no longer trying to fix the past or secure the future. You are now free to simply express the magnificent, golden wholeness that you are, right here, right now. You are ready to stop being an effect and to become a cause. You are ready to become a conscious creator. You stand now on new ground. The earth beneath your feet is firm, for it is the unshakable foundation of your own inherent wholeness. The frantic, lifelong search for missing pieces is over. The project of fixing your broken self has been abandoned, for you have seen with startling clarity that it was all based on a case of mistaken identity. You are not broken. You are not lacking. You are a complete and perfect expression of consciousness, temporarily inhabiting a human form. This realization is the end of one journey, the journey of the victim, and the beginning of another, far more thrilling adventure, the journey of the conscious creator. For your entire life, you have unconsciously created your reality from a state of perceived lack, and so your reality has faithfully reflected that lack back to you. Now you will learn to create consciously, deliberately, and joyfully from the overflowing wellspring of your own completeness. The shift from victim to creator is the most significant leap of faith you will ever take. The victim believes that life happens to them. They are a ship without a rudder, tossed about by the external winds of circumstance, luck, and the actions of other people. Their language is one of blame, complaint, and powerlessness. Why did this happen to me? If only they would change. I never get a break. The Creator, however, understands a far deeper and more demanding truth. Life happens through them. They understand that their outer world is a direct, tangible manifestation of their inner world. Their dominant state of consciousness is the cause, and their life circumstances are the effect. This is the doctrine of radical responsibility. It means you can no longer blame anyone or anything outside of yourself for the conditions of your life. It means you must own the fact that your own assumptions, your own beliefs, and your own habitual feeling states have drawn every experience to you, both the beautiful and the painful. This may seem like a heavy burden, but it is the price of admission to absolute freedom. For if you are the cause of your own suffering, then you hold the power to be the cause of your own liberation and your own joy. The mechanism of creation is governed by a law that is as certain and impersonal as the law of gravity. It is called the law of assumption. The great mystic Neville Goddard taught that your consciousness is the one and only reality, and the world is simply a mirror of what you are assuming to be true. An assumption, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This means that what you experience in your life is not determined by what you want, what you hope for, or what you work hard for. It is determined by what you, in the deepest part of your being, assume to be true about yourself and about reality. If you habitually assume that you are unlucky, the world will arrange itself to prove you right. If you unconsciously assume that you are not worthy of love, you will find yourself in situations that confirm this belief. The universe does not argue with you. It simply says yes to the state of being you have chosen to occupy. The great work, then, is to become aware of your unconscious assumptions and to consciously, deliberately choose new ones. And what is the tool you will use for this magnificent work? It is the most powerful, most misunderstood, and most neglected faculty you possess: your imagination. You have been taught that imagination is for children, for artists, for idle daydreaming, a frivolous escape from the real world. This is a profound falsehood designed to keep you from your own divine power. Your imagination is not an escape from reality. It is the very workshop where reality is created. It is, quite literally, God in action through you. The truth is, you are using your imagination every single moment of every single day. The question is not if you are imagining, but what you are imagining. Up until now, you have likely been using it unconsciously and often destructively. The act of worrying is a powerful and focused use of the imagination. When you worry, you are meticulously constructing a detailed scene of failure, of loss, of pain. You are playing a mental movie of what you do not want, and you are adding the powerful fuel of fear to it. You are praying for what you do not desire. You are a master creator of negative circumstances. To become a conscious creator is to simply take the same powerful tool and aim it in the direction of your desired outcome. Here is the practical method, the sacred art of deliberate creation. First, you must know what you desire. And this desire must now come not from a place of need, but from a place of joyful expression. Not, I need a relationship to be whole, but, as a whole being, I desire to express my love and be loved in a partnership. Be clear and specific. Second, construct a short, simple scene, a single event, that would take place after your desire has been fulfilled. The key is that the scene must imply that the wish is already a fact. If you desire healing, the scene is not you being healed. It is a friend shaking your hand and saying, "I have never seen you look so well." If you desire a new home, the scene is not you signing the papers. It is you feeling the keys in your hand as you stand at your new front door. The scene must feel natural and must contain the feeling of fulfillment. Third, you must enter a specific state of consciousness. The most fertile time for this work is in the state akin to sleep, the drowsy, relaxed state you enter just before drifting off at night, or just as you are waking in the morning. In this state, the rational, doubting mind is subdued, and the gateway to the subconscious is open. Once you are in this relaxed, receptive state, you bring your imaginal scene to mind. Loop it over and over again, like a short clip of a film. The goal here is not visual perfection. The goal is sensory vividness, and most importantly, feeling. You must feel what it would actually feel like if you were in that scene right now. Feel the texture of the keys in your hand. Hear the sound of your friend's voice. In your mind's eye, see the world from the perspective of the person who has what you desire. And as you loop the scene, you must allow yourself to be consumed by the emotion of the wish fulfilled. Feel the deep relief. Feel the quiet joy. Feel the profound gratitude. You must feel it so completely that it feels more real than the external world. You are not pretending. You are not visualizing a future. You are, in the only reality that truly exists, your own consciousness experiencing the desired outcome now. Once you have successfully brought your imaginal act to a point of sensory vividness and feeling, you then do the most important thing of all. You drop it. You have planted the seed in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. Your work is done. You now enter what is called the Sabbath, a state of rest. You go about your days with the quiet, confident knowing that it is done. You do not anxiously look for signs. You do not dig up the seed every day to see if it is growing. To do so would be to admit that you do not believe it has been planted. Your faith is your loyalty to this unseen reality. When the outer world, the mirror, still reflects your old reality, you do not waver. You know that the mirror is simply taking a little time to catch up to the new reality you have impressed upon your consciousness. You have moved into a new state of being, and you remain faithful to that state. This process works because feeling is the secret. Consciousness is the creator, but feeling is the specific language it uses to shape reality. A thought without the conviction of feeling is impotent. A feeling state, however, is a powerful vibrational broadcast that reorganizes the energy of the universe around you. By feeling the reality of the wish fulfilled, you are changing your frequency. You are becoming a vibrational match to your desire. You are tuning your radio to the station you wish to hear. And so, you must learn to live in the end. This does not mean being delusional or denying your current circumstances. It means you carry the inner feeling, the mental attitude of the person you desire to be. How would you think, speak, and act if your prayer were already answered? You would walk with more confidence. You would be more generous, more relaxed, less needy. Begin to embody that state now. Your inner conversations throughout the day must align with your fulfilled desire. You must stop imagining negatively and begin living internally from the new assumption. Action will still happen, but it will be of a different quality. It will be inspired action, not forced action. You will find yourself guided, as if by an unseen hand, across a bridge of incidents, a series of seemingly natural events, conversations, and opportunities that lead you, often in the most unexpected ways, to the fulfillment of your assumed state. Your only job is to remain in the feeling of the wish fulfilled and to follow the natural, intuitive urges that arise. You have now been given the keys to the kingdom. You understand that your wholeness is your foundation and your imagination is your creative power. But to become a true master of this art, to move from conscious creation to effortless being, you must become fluent in the native tongue of the universe itself. This creative act is a dialogue, and like any dialogue, it has its own grammar, its own syntax. It is a language of trust, of gratitude, and of non-resistance. It is time to learn how to speak it. You have been initiated into the great mystery. You are the creator of your reality. You understand that your consciousness is the cause, and your life is the effect. You have been given the key to the divine workshop, your own magnificent imagination, and you have learned the art of assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This is the what and the how of creation. Now, we must go deeper, into the very essence of the dialogue between you and the universe. For creation is a dialogue, and like any language, it has its own grammar, its own syntax, its own feeling tone. To become a master creator, you must become a fluent speaker of this cosmic tongue. It is a language not of the lips, but of the heart, not of words, but of being. For too long, you have tried to communicate with the universe in a foreign language. You have used the language of petition, of begging, of pleading. Please, universe, just give me this one thing. I promise I will be a better person if this works out. This is like shouting in English at a person who only understands the profound silence of the mountains. The universe, that infinite intelligence of which you are a part, does not understand the words of lack. Your pleading only serves to amplify the feeling of not having. It is a powerful affirmation of absence. When you beg for something, you are screaming into the great mirror of reality. I do not have this. I am without this. And the universe, in its perfect, impersonal love, echoes back the exact frequency of your broadcast, giving you more experiences of not having. To speak the language of creation, you must abandon the dialect of the victim and learn the mother tongue of the creator. This language has three foundational pillars: feeling, gratitude, and trust. The first pillar, the verb of this language, is feeling. We have touched on this, but we must now understand it in its bones. Feeling is the current that carries your intention into the womb of creation. A thought alone is a blueprint without a builder. A feeling is the life force that organizes energy and matter according to your blueprint. But there is a profound difference between thinking about a feeling and truly embodying it. To think, "I would feel so peaceful if I had that job," is not the creative act. The creative act is to sit in silence and generate the actual, physiological sensation of peace within your body now. It is to feel the relaxation in your shoulders, the deep, even rhythm of your breath, the quiet hum in your nervous system, as if the job and its accompanying peace were already your present reality. This is the difference between looking up the word love in a dictionary and being consumed by the feeling of love itself. One is information, the other is creation. To speak the language of the universe, you must stop being a narrator of your desired feelings and become the living embodiment of them. The second pillar, the master key that unlocks every door, is gratitude. In your old way of being, gratitude was a response. You received something good, and so you said, "Thank you." In the language of the Creator, gratitude is a cause. It is a powerful statement of faith made before the evidence has appeared in the physical world. When you cultivate the genuine feeling of gratitude for your desire as if you have already received it, you are sending the clearest possible signal to the universe. You are communicating, "The transaction is complete. I have received it. Thank you." This feeling of gratitude instantly collapses the space between you and your desire. It shifts your entire being from the frequency of wanting to the frequency of having. Wanting is a state of separation. Gratitude is a state of union. It is the ultimate affirmation. Sit now and feel this. Bring your fulfilled desire to mind. Now, what would you be grateful for? Would you be grateful for the security, for the joy, for the love, for the health? Do not just think the words. Feel the wave of gratitude wash over you. Let it fill your heart. Let it bring a smile to your lips. This feeling, right here, is the language the universe understands perfectly. It is the amen to your prayer. The third and most challenging pillar, the very syntax that holds the communication together, is trust. This is the sacred pause, the period of gestation after you have planted the seed of your desire in the subconscious mind. This is where most aspiring creators falter. You have performed your imaginal act, you have felt the gratitude, and now your conscious, analytical mind rushes in with its doubts and its impatience. Is it working? When will it happen? Am I doing it right? To ask these questions is to demonstrate a profound lack of trust, and it is akin to planting a seed in fertile soil and then digging it up every morning to check if it has sprouted. This act of anxious checking will destroy the seed. Trust is not a passive waiting. It is an active, conscious state of non-interference. It is a deep, inner relaxation, a quiet confidence that the seed has been planted and the creative laws of the universe are now handling the germination. You have done your part. Your work is over. Now you must allow the infinite intelligence to do its work. Trust is your loyalty to the unseen reality you created in your imagination. When the mirror of the world still shows you your old circumstances, trust is the ability to smile, to wink at the illusion, and to remain faithful to the truth within you. The silence between the words is as important as the words themselves. In this cosmic language, that silence is called surrender. It is the act of releasing your grip on the how, the when, and the in what manner your desire will manifest. You have stated the what with clarity and feeling. You must now surrender the details of the unfolding to a wisdom that is infinitely greater than your own. To try and control the how is to tell the master architect that you, the apprentice, know better. It introduces friction and resistance into the process. The path from your imaginal act to its physical fulfillment is often a surprising and magical one, a bridge of incidents you could never have planned with your conscious mind. Your job is to trust the bridge, not to build it. Surrender is this profound trust in action. You now understand the grammar of creation. Feel the reality of your desire. Express profound gratitude for its fulfillment, and trust with unwavering faith in the unseen process. It sounds so simple, yet you know it is not always easy. As you begin to speak this new language, you will become acutely aware of an inner static, a jamming signal that distorts your broadcast. This static is the lifetime of conditioning from your old identity. It is the voice of doubt whispering that this is all nonsense. It is the feeling of impatience demanding to see results now. It is the surge of fear that you are unworthy or that you will fail. This internal noise, this profound habit of disbelief, is your own resistance. It is the single greatest obstacle to becoming a fluent, effortless creator. Before you can broadcast your new signal with perfect clarity, you must first understand the nature of this interference. You must understand the nature of resistance. You have learned the language of creation. You have practiced feeling the wish fulfilled. You have bathed it in the high frequency of gratitude, and you have committed to the sacred act of trust. And yet, as you walk this path, you encounter an invisible friction, an inner adversary that seems to sabotage your best intentions. This adversary is resistance. It is the static that jams the signal between you and the universe. It is the tangled knot at the center of all your suffering. Resistance is the voice that whispers, "This isn't working." It is the anxious feeling in your gut that demands to see proof now. It is the impatience that taps its foot while waiting for reality to change. It is complaining, it is blaming, it is judging, it is worrying. It is any and every form of a fundamental, energetic no to what is. For your entire life, you have been at war with reality. And this inner war is the sole reason you have ever felt pain turn into suffering. The events of your life are not the source of your suffering. Your resistance to the events of your life is the source of your suffering. Imagine you find yourself standing in quicksand. The quicksand is the present moment. It is the unchangeable what is of your current situation. The bill you have to pay, the diagnosis you have received, the conversation that went poorly. The quicksand itself is neutral. It is simply a circumstance. Your instinct, born from a lifetime of conditioning, is to struggle. You panic. You flail your arms, you kick your legs, you fight against the reality that you are in quicksand. And what happens? You sink faster. Your struggle, your desperate resistance to the situation, is the very thing that pulls you under and turns a challenging situation into a life-threatening one. This is the perfect metaphor for your life. The more you fight and resist the reality of the present moment, the deeper you sink into the suffering of it. The way out of quicksand is counterintuitive. You must relax. You must stop struggling. You must increase your surface area and allow yourself to be supported by the very thing you are fighting. The way out of suffering is exactly the same. Let us look at another analogy. The Chinese finger trap, a simple woven toy. You place your fingers in either end, and when you try to pull them out, the trap tightens. The harder you pull away, the more you resist, the more hopelessly stuck you become. The only way to free your fingers is to do the opposite of what your instincts tell you. You must gently push your fingers into the trap. In that moment of surrender, that moment of moving with the trap rather than against it, it loosens its grip, and you can slide your fingers out with ease. Resistance is this finger trap. Your problems, your anxieties, your arguments with life, they all hold you captive only because you are pulling against them. The moment you stop pulling, the moment you cease your mental and emotional resistance, the trap loses its power. But why do we pull so hard? Why is resistance our default setting? It is because the ego, the sense of a separate self, believes that its survival depends on control. It needs to fight, to manage, to figure things out, to be right. A state of surrender, of trust, of allowing, feels like death to the ego. And so, it will generate endless arguments with reality in a desperate attempt to maintain its illusion of control. Resistance is not just a mental concept. It is a visceral, physical experience. It is the embodiment of the word no. You can learn to detect it in your body long before it blossoms into a full-blown negative thought pattern. Close your eyes for a moment and scan your body for its signature. Resistance is the subtle clenching in your jaw as you hold back words you wish to say. It is the tightness across your shoulders and neck. as if you are bracing for a blow, carrying the weight of trying to manage the world. It is the shallow, constricted breathing that denies the full, easy flow of life force. It is the hard knot of anxiety in your stomach, a physical manifestation of you resisting an unknown future. It is the furrowed brow of constant worry. These are the physical markers of your war with what is. By becoming sensitive to these signals, you can catch yourself in the act of resisting. You can feel the finger trap tightening and remind yourself, in that moment, to do the opposite, to relax, to breathe deeply, to push gently into the reality of the moment. The antidote to resistance is acceptance. Now, this is one of the most misunderstood words in all of spirituality. Acceptance does not mean resignation. It is not apathy. It does not mean you should condone harmful behavior in yourself or others. It does not mean you give up and let life walk all over you. Acceptance is simply the conscious, courageous act of dropping your inner argument with reality. It is a firm and final yes to the facts of the present moment. If you are stuck in traffic, acceptance is acknowledging, I am in my car and it is not moving. That is the fact. The suffering comes from the resistance. This shouldn't be happening. I'm going to be late. This is a disaster. By simply accepting the isness of the situation, you reclaim all of the immense energy you were wasting on fighting it. And only from that calm, clear-headed place of acceptance can you take intelligent action, like calling to say you will be late, or choosing to enjoy the music on the radio. You cannot win a war with reality. You can only find peace by declaring a ceasefire. When you stop fighting the powerful current of a river, when you cease struggling and thrashing against it, what happens? You do not sink. You begin to float. You are carried. The same energy that felt like a violent enemy when you were resisting it now becomes a powerful, supportive force when you surrender to it. This is the state of grace that becomes available to you when you learn to dissolve your own resistance. By saying yes to the unfolding moment, you stop being a jagged rock in the river of life, creating turbulence and drag. You become the water itself, moving with the river, around obstacles, in a state of effortless power. This state has a name. It is called flow. It is the wisdom of moving with life, rather than against it. It is the experience of being guided, supported, and carried by an intelligence far greater than your own. And the only thing that has ever kept you from this state of grace is your own resistance. By learning to recognize and release that resistance, you prepare yourself to enter the current. You prepare yourself to learn the wisdom of flow. You have stood at the edge of the great river of life. For years, you fought its current, believing your willpower and effort were the only things that could move you forward. You have known the exhaustion of swimming against the stream, the frustration of being pushed back, the fear of being swept away. You have learned the futility of this struggle. You have seen how your resistance, your desperate fight against the flow of what is, was the very source of your suffering. You have learned to stop fighting. You have learned to let go of the argument. And now, as you cease your struggle, you are ready for the next revelation. You are ready to discover that this river is not a mindless, chaotic force. It is a profoundly intelligent, conscious, and benevolent current, and its ultimate destination is always the vast, peaceful ocean of your own highest good. You are ready to learn the wisdom of flow. Imagine two ways of journeying through a dense, rugged landscape. The first is the path of the boulder. This is the path of the ego, the path of force. It sees an obstacle, a mountain, and decides it must go through it. It summons all its will, all its effort, and begins the slow, arduous process of trying to push the mountain out of the way. It is a life of immense striving, friction, and exhaustion. It is a life defined by the obstacles it fights. The second path is the path of the water. Water, when it meets a mountain, does not fight it. It does not waste a single drop of energy trying to move the immovable. It simply, effortlessly, finds its way around. It yields, it adapts, it flows, always seeking the path of least resistance. Yet, With this gentle, persistent yielding, water has the power to carve the Grand Canyon. It is soft, yet it is the most powerful force on earth. The life of resistance is the path of the boulder. The life of surrender is the path of the water. You have been taught to be the boulder. It is time to remember that you are the water. This river of life is the very same bridge of incidents that carries you from your imaginal act to its fulfillment. When you are in a state of resistance, you are blind to this bridge. You are so focused on your own frantic paddling that you miss the gentle, guiding current that is always there to support you. To enter the flow is to make a conscious choice to lay down your oars. It is to get into your canoe, take a deep breath, and trust that the river knows the way. This does not mean you become passive or helpless. It means you change the function of your awareness. Your awareness is no longer the engine, trying to power the boat with brute force. Your awareness becomes the rudder. With the rudder, you can make small, subtle, and effortless adjustments. You can steer around a fallen log or a sharp rock, all while allowing the main, powerful current of the river to provide the momentum. You are no longer in charge of the journey's power, but you are a conscious co-creator in its navigation. You are working in harmony with a force infinitely greater than yourself. The ancient Taoist sages had a name for this state of graceful, effective action: Wu Wei. It is often translated as non-doing or non-action, but its truer meaning is effortless action, or action that does not involve struggle. It is the art of sailing rather than rowing. A sailor does not create the wind, but they study its direction and adjust their sails to harness its power. To live in a state of Wu Wei is to become a master sailor on the river of life. It means developing a profound sensitivity to the currents of circumstance. Instead of meeting an unexpected event with the brute force question, "How can I conquer this?" you ask the subtle, intelligent question, "How can this serve me? How can I use this current?" An unexpected delay is no longer a frustrating roadblock. It might be the river saving you from something further downstream, or creating the space for a chance encounter you could never have planned. Living in flow requires you to develop a new relationship with time. The ego lives by the stopwatch, demanding results now. The soul lives by the seasons, understanding that everything has a natural rhythm of unfolding. You cannot force a seed to become a tree overnight. To practice Wu Wei is to know when to act with decisive energy and when to wait with patient trust. When the current is swift and clear, you act. When the river pools in a quiet eddy, you rest. You learn to trust these rhythms. Your actions, when they do arise, feel different. They are not born from anxious calculation. They are spontaneous and intuitive. You find yourself saying the perfect thing in a conversation without thinking about it. You get a sudden, clear urge to call someone or visit a certain place. There is no internal debate. The action feels light, easy, and obvious. This is spontaneous right action, and it is the hallmark of a life lived in flow. How do you know when you have entered this graceful state? The universe will give you clear signals. The first is an increase in synchronicity. These are the meaningful coincidences that feel too perfect to be random. You have a question, and the answer appears in a book you open. You need help with a project, and you run into the perfect person to assist you. These are winks from the universe, confirming that you are aligned with its current. The second signal is a sense of ease. Obstacles that seemed insurmountable seem to dissolve or reveal hidden pathways. The right resources and opportunities appear just when you need them. It feels less like you are achieving things and more like you are being allowed to receive them. The third signal is a deep sense of peace, even in the midst of activity. The frantic, anxious energy is gone, replaced by a calm confidence that all is well and all will be well. As you become more accustomed to floating in this intelligent river, your perception deepens. You begin to notice the subtle laws that govern its movement. You see that the river is not just a current, but a complex and perfect system of cause and effect. You notice that an act of kindness you offer to someone upstream creates a gentle, warm current that seems to find its way back to you later. You notice that a harsh judgment you send out creates a choppy, uncomfortable turbulence that you yourself eventually have to navigate. You begin to see, with startling clarity, that you are not separate from the river, and that every thought, word, and action you put into it inevitably affects the quality of the water you will be drinking downstream. This is not the judgment of an old man in the sky. This is not a system of reward and punishment. It is simply the physics of the river. It is the impersonal, unerring, and ultimately compassionate law of energetic return. It is the true nature of karma. You are learning to move with the great river of life, to cooperate with its intelligent flow. As you surrender to its current, you begin to perceive the subtle laws that govern it. You see how every action creates a ripple, how every cause has an effect. This perception brings you face to face with one of the most powerful and misunderstood concepts in all of spirituality: karma. For centuries, this word has been shrouded in fear, superstition, and guilt. We have been taught to see karma as a cosmic ledger kept by a celestial judge, a system of punishment and reward for good and bad deeds. We have lived in fear of a karmic debt from a past we cannot remember, feeling as though we are prisoners paying for a crime we did not commit. This interpretation, born of fear, has been a tool of control, not liberation. It is time to release this heavy, distorted burden and embrace the beautiful, compassionate, and empowering truth of what karma truly is. Karma is not a moral law enforced by a punishing God. Karma is a natural law, as impersonal, as certain, and as unbiased as the law of gravity. It is the law of cause and effect applied to the realm of energy and consciousness. It is, quite simply, the physics of the soul. The universe does not judge you. It does not label your actions as good or bad. It simply, with perfect precision, reflects back to you the quality of the energy you have put out. Imagine you place your hand upon a block of ice. Your hand becomes cold. Now, you place your hand upon a hot stove. Your hand gets burned. In neither case is the object punishing you. The ice and the stove are not making a moral judgment about your character. They are simply teaching you, through direct experience, about the nature of cold and the nature of heat. Karma is exactly this. It is a perfect, non-judgmental feedback system designed for one purpose and one purpose only: to teach you an act of kindness, a thought of compassion, a feeling of love. These are energies with a certain quality, a harmonious frequency. When you send that energy out into the universe, the law of karma ensures that you will experience the effects of that same harmonious frequency. This is not a reward. It is a lesson about the nature of love. An act of cruelty, a word of judgment, a feeling of resentment. These are energies with a discordant, contractive frequency. When you send that energy out, the law of karma ensures that you will experience the consequences of that discordant frequency. This is not a punishment. It is a direct and intimate lesson about the nature of resentment. The universe is a perfect teacher, and it knows that the only way a soul truly learns is through direct experience. Karma is the curriculum. It is the syllabus for your own evolution. And who designed this curriculum? You did. Before you entered this lifetime, you as a soul chose certain lessons you wished to master. Perhaps you wished to learn the meaning of true forgiveness. And so you designed a life where you would encounter people who would offer you profound opportunities to forgive. Perhaps you wanted to master the art of self-worth, and so you designed circumstances that would challenge your sense of value at every turn. From this perspective, the most difficult people and the most challenging situations in your life are not random curses or punishments for past sins. They are your karmic teachers, custom designed by your own soul to help you learn what you came here to learn. The person who betrays you is not your enemy. They are a master teacher, offering you a PhD-level course in setting boundaries and loving yourself. The financial struggles you face are not a sign of your failure. They are a masterclass in discovering your own inner resourcefulness and your worth beyond material possessions. When you see life through this lens, victimhood becomes impossible. You realize that nothing is happening to you. Everything is happening for you. Your life is not a sentence to be served. It is a classroom to be learned in. And the central question of your life shifts from the powerless cry of, "Why me?" to the empowered inquiry of, "What is this here to teach me?" This understanding liberates you from the chains of the past. You are not bound by the actions of a former life. Karma is not fate. It is not a fixed destiny written in stone. Because karma is generated by your own state of consciousness, you have the power to change it, to resolve it, to complete it in any single moment. You do not change your karma by performing pious acts or charitable deeds in order to balance the scales. You change your karma by changing the inner response to the lesson being presented. If your karmic pattern is one of attracting untrustworthy partners, the cycle continues as long as you react with your old pattern of anger and victimhood. The moment you respond differently, the moment you see the situation as a lesson in self-love, you set a firm boundary, and you walk away not in anger but with compassion for yourself in that moment. You break the chain. You have graduated. The lesson is complete. The teacher is no longer needed, and you are free. The entire purpose of karma is to bring you to a point of conscious choice, to awaken you from reactive patterns into the freedom of a new response. This profound realization that every thought, every feeling, every subtle intention is a cause that will have an effect bestows upon you a new and sacred sense of responsibility. You are the energetic center of your world. You are constantly sending out ripples into the great river of life, ripples that will shape your future experience. If you wish to live in a harmonious reality, you must become a conscious generator of harmonious energy. This is not a chore. It is the joyful art of a master creator. But it requires diligence. It requires that you become the vigilant guardian of your own inner state. You can no longer afford to be unconsciously pulled into the vortex of collective fear, to be stained by the cynicism of the news, or to be tangled in the low-frequency drama of gossip and complaint. To maintain the clarity of your own energy, to ensure the ripples you create are clean and pure, you must have a place of refuge. You must learn the importance of stepping away from the noise of the world in order to hear the signal of your own soul. You must discover the deep, restorative, and essential power of sacred solitude. You have now come to understand the deep and impersonal justice of karma. You see that your inner world is a powerful broadcasting station, sending out ripples of cause that return to you as the effects of your life. This realization brings with it a sacred responsibility, the duty to become the vigilant guardian of your own energetic state. To do this, to maintain the clarity and harmony of your own being amidst a world of noise and chaos, you must learn to embrace a practice that your society has taught you to fear more than almost anything else. You must learn the difference between the pain of loneliness and the profound power of sacred solitude. Our world is built on a terror of being alone. We have been conditioned to see an empty moment as a void that must be immediately filled. Fill it with a screen, with a task, with a conversation, with noise. The fear of loneliness, the painful feeling of being separate, unwanted, and incomplete, one of the deepest wounds of the human psyche. It is the ache of the forgotten soul crying out for connection. Loneliness is a state of lack. It is the belief that your happiness and wholeness depend on someone or something outside of yourself. And so you have run from aloneness, seeking validation in the eyes of others, looking for a reflection that tells you that you exist and that you matter. This frantic search, this flight from the self, is the source of so much distraction and so many compromised decisions. But solitude is something else entirely. It is not the same country, not even the same continent, as loneliness. Loneliness is the pain of being by yourself. Solitude is the joy, the peace, and the glory of being with yourself. Loneliness is imposed. Solitude is chosen. It is a deliberate, loving, and courageous act of turning away from the distractions of the world to return home to the sanctuary of your own soul. Imagine you are a tree, and your purpose is to grow strong and bear magnificent fruit. To do so, you need space. You need space for your roots to delve deep into the dark, nourishing earth, and you need space for your branches to reach wide into the sunlit sky. If other trees are planted too closely, your growth will be stunted, your roots will become tangled with others, and your branches will compete for a sliver of light. Solitude is this essential space. In your daily interactions, your energetic roots become entangled with the fears, desires, and judgments of others. You are constantly being bombarded by their frequencies, their static, their noise. Without periods of solitude, you begin to lose track of which roots are yours and which belong to someone else. You forget the sound of your own soul's frequency because it is drowned out by the clamor of the collective. Solitude is the act of gently disentangling. It is the energetic hygiene required to cleanse your field, to return to your own vibrational signature, to remember who you are in the absence of anyone else's reflection. It is in this sacred space that your roots can finally draw nourishment from your own deepest source, and your branches can finally feel the unimpeded warmth of the divine sun. Solitude is the silent chamber where you can finally hear the whispers of your own intuition. The universe, your higher self, the source of all intelligency, is always communicating with you. But it does not shout. It speaks in the subtle language of gut feelings, of quiet knowing, of sudden, inspired ideas that seem to come from nowhere. In the noise of your daily life, these whispers are lost. You are too busy answering emails, meeting deadlines, and tending to the needs of others to hear the gentle guidance that is constantly available to you. Solitude is the act of creating a sacred appointment with your own inner oracle. It is when you deliberately quiet the external world that the internal world can finally speak at its natural volume. The answers you have been desperately seeking in books, from gurus, or in the advice of friends are waiting for you in the stillness of your own company. You are your own wisest counselor. Solitude is simply the act of booking a session. Furthermore, solitude is the only place where you can truly take off your masks. When you are in the presence of another human being, a part of you, however subtle, is performing. You are playing the role of the competent professional, the loving parent, the charming friend, the attentive child. You are holding your face in a certain way, modulating your voice, editing your thoughts to fit the demands of the role. This performance, while often necessary, is profoundly draining. It consumes a vast amount of life force to constantly uphold these identities. Solitude is the blessed state of having no audience. There is no one to impress, no one to please, no one to manage. In the sanctuary of your aloneness, the masks can finally be set down on the table. You can be your unedited, unfiltered self. You can be tired, you can be confused, you can be grumpy, you can be wildly joyful, you can simply be. This is a form of deep, cellular rest that is impossible to achieve in the company of others. It is the freedom to cease all performance and allow your true face to feel the air. At first, this freedom may feel terrifying. When you first choose to be alone, to sit in silence without distraction, your mind may rebel. The ego, addicted to the stimulation and validation of the outer world, will panic. It will bombard you with an intense urge to pick up your phone, to turn on the television, to find something, anything, to fill the space. It will tell you that you are bored, that this is a waste of time. Be patient with this. This is the detox process. This is the ego feeling the withdrawal of its favorite drug, distraction. Your task is to simply sit with this discomfort, to watch the urges arise and pass without acting on them. Breathe through them. This is the threshold you must cross. You do not need to go on a long retreat. Begin with 10 minutes. Begin with a single cup of tea, enjoyed in silence before the world wakes up. Take a walk in nature and leave your headphones at home. Create small, intentional pockets of sacred silence in your day. Treat this time not as an emptiness to be endured, but as a date with the most important person in your life, your own soul. As you become more comfortable in the quiet company of yourself, a miracle will happen. You will make the single greatest discovery available to a human being. In the depths of your solitude, you will discover that you are not alone. You will begin to feel the constant, loving, and peaceful presence of your own unbreakable core. You will realize that the companionship you have been seeking from others, the validation you have been craving, the sense of home you have been searching for, has been patiently waiting for you within your own heart all along. The presence of universal consciousness, the divine intelligence that animates all things, is your constant companion. You have simply been too distracted to notice. When you truly befriend yourself, you can never be lonely again, for you are always in the best possible company. Your own presence becomes a source of deep comfort, peace, and endless fascination. This is the ultimate fruit of solitude. It permanently cures the ache of loneliness from within. And this cure changes your relationship with the entire world, especially your relationship with love. When you seek partnership from a place of loneliness, you are engaged in a transaction of need. You are essentially saying, I am an empty vessel, and I need you to fill me. Please take away my pain of being alone. This places an impossible burden on another person and creates relationships based on codependency and fear. But when you have cultivated a deep well of fullness and peace within yourself through the practice of sacred solitude, you approach others from a place of magnificent overflow. You are a full vessel, seeking another full vessel to share your abundance with. You no longer need another person to make you happy or whole. You are already happy. You are already whole. You are not seeking love to get something. You are seeking to give the love that you now know you are. Love ceases to be a desperate transaction. It becomes a radiant state of being. And now, from this place of inner fullness, you are finally ready to understand its true nature. You have walked the sacred path of solitude and made the most profound discovery. You are your own companion, your own sanctuary, your own source of peace. In the quiet fullness of your own company, you have healed the desperate ache of loneliness from within. This healing prepares you for the final re-education of the heart. It prepares you to dismantle the most pervasive, most celebrated, and most painful illusion of all, the illusion of romantic, transactional love. For your entire life, you have been taught that love is something outside of you. It is a prize to be won, a person to be found, a feeling to be captured and held. It is the answer to your incompleteness. The language we use betrays this belief. We fall in love as if by accident, and we can just as easily fall out of love. We search for our other half, implying that we are, by our nature, incomplete. We promise to love someone forever, creating a contract that is haunted by the fear of its own breach. This entire model is built upon the myth of the broken self. It is the framework of the ego, which sees love as a resource, a commodity that can be gained or lost. And because it can be lost, we become consumed by the work of trying to keep it through performance, through pleasing, through control. This is not love. It is a transaction rooted in fear. Let us contrast two ways of being in the world. The first is the way of the beggar. The beggar sits by the side of the road with an empty cup. This empty cup is their sense of self, their feeling of lack. They look to every passerby, every potential partner, friend, or admirand. They plead, "Please, put something in my cup. Give me a drop of your approval, a coin of your validation, a morsel of your affection, so that I may feel full." The beggar's happiness is entirely dependent on the generosity of others. They live in a state of constant anxiety, for the person who fills their cup today can just as easily pass them by tomorrow. This is the transactional model of love. It is a state of profound disempowerment. It is the source of jealousy, of neediness, of the desperate fear of abandonment. It is the belief that your love comes from another. Now, consider the second way, the way of the sun. The sun does not ask for permission to shine. It does not check to see who is worthy of its warmth. It does not worry that it will run out of light. It does not shine in order to get something in return. The sun shines because that is its nature. It is a magnificent, self-sustaining, radiant source of energy, and its giving is the effortless expression of its being. True love is the way of the sun. It is not something you get. It is something you are. It is the natural, radiant overflow of a being who has discovered the infinite source of light within their own core. You have already done the work to discover this inner sun. It is your unbreakable core. It is the silent, peaceful, ever-present awareness you found in the depths of your being. This core consciousness is not just peaceful. It is made of the very substance of unconditional love. It is the source. Your task is not to find love, but to dissolve the clouds of fear and false belief that have obscured the light of the sun that you already are. Let us feel this now. Close your eyes. Bring your attention out of the busy factory of your mind and let it drop into the warm, spacious sanctuary of your heart. Breathe into this space. Let go of the need to love a specific person, a specific pet, or a specific thing. Instead, focus on the pure energy of love itself. Imagine it as a warm, golden light at the center of your chest. With every inhale, imagine fanning this ember, helping it grow brighter, warmer, more radiant. Feel this energy not as something you are pulling in from the outside, but as something that is being generated from within, from an infinite wellspring. Let this feeling of warm, expansive, benevolent energy grow until it fills your entire chest, until it overflows and radiates out from you in all directions, without agenda, without a destination. This feeling, right here, is your true nature. This is love as a state of being. When you begin to operate from this state, you can finally understand the difference between the two kinds of love. The first is conditional love, which is the love of the ego. It is a contract. It says, I will love you because you are beautiful, you make me laugh, you share my beliefs, you make me feel secure. The love is conditional upon the other person's behavior and attributes. The moment the condition is no longer met, the love is withdrawn. This is why relationships built on this foundation are so fragile. They are built on a constantly shifting landscape of conditions. The second kind of love is unconditional love, which is the love of the soul, the love of your true nature. It is a declaration, not a contract. It says simply, I love you, full stop. It is a benevolent energy that flows from you towards another, not because of what they do, but because of who they are, another expression of the divine. It is a recognition of the unbreakable core, the golden statue, within them, regardless of how much mud may be covering it. This love is steady, unwavering, and free, for it does not depend on anything external. It is the only love that has the power to heal, for it sees beyond the wounds to the wholeness that is always present. When you learn to be the sun, when you regularly tap into this infinite source of love within you, your cup is no longer empty. It is not even just full. It is perpetually, gloriously overflowing. And what happens when a cup overflows? It naturally, effortlessly, nourishes everything around it. Its giving is not a sacrifice. The sun does not deplete itself by shining. The overflowing cup does not become empty by sharing its excess. This is the secret to a life of joyful purpose. You no longer seek to help others in order to feel good about yourself, to prove your worth, or to get their approval. That is still the way of the beggar, using service as another way to get something for the empty cup. Instead, you begin to serve the world as the natural expression of the love that you are. Your kindness, your compassion, your creativity, your unique gifts, they are now the overflow. Your giving becomes a celebration of your own fullness. This is not service born from a sense of duty or depletion. This is service from a full cup. You have found the sun within you. You have discovered that love is not a transaction of need, but a radiant state of being, an overflowing of the spirit. Your cup is no longer empty, pleading to be filled. It is full, and its nature is to overflow. This understanding brings you to the threshold of a new relationship with the world, a new way of giving, a new way of serving. For centuries, We have been taught a model of service rooted in the nobility of self-sacrifice. We have been told that to be a good person is to put the needs of others before our own, to give until we are empty, to carry the burdens of the world on our shoulders. We have been taught to admire the martyr, the savior, the one who depletes themselves for the sake of the collective. This model, while born from a well-intentioned place, is built upon a foundation of scarcity and lack. It is a model from the old consciousness of the broken self, and it is the hidden source of so much burnout, resentment, and bitterness. When you give from an empty or half-full cup, your giving is always, on some level, a transaction. You are giving in order to get something back: approval, validation, a sense of your own goodness, or the hope that someone will finally meet your own unmet needs. This kind of giving is heavy. It carries with it the energetic expectation of return, and when that return doesn't come, it curdles into resentment. After all I've done for them, the empty giver says, this is the thanks I get. This is not true service. It is a covert contract, and it poisons both the giver and the receiver. It creates dependency, not empowerment. It is an unsustainable path that ultimately leads to having nothing left to give at all. It is time to release this painful and flawed paradigm. It is time to learn to serve from a full cup. Think of the simple, non-negotiable instruction you hear every time you board an airplane. In the event of a sudden drop in cabin pressure, oxygen masks will deploy from the ceiling. What is the one unbreakable rule? You must secure your own mask first before assisting anyone else, even your own child. Why? Is this a lesson in selfishness? Number. It is a lesson in profound wisdom. If you, in a panic, try to help your child first, you may pass out from lack of oxygen within seconds. You would then be of no use to your child or to anyone else. You would become another casualty, another problem for someone else to solve. Your greatest and most effective service, in that critical moment, is to ensure your own connection to the source of life first. Only then, from a place of stability and full-breathed consciousness, can you effectively help those around you. This is the new paradigm for your entire life. Your connection to your inner peace, to your joy, to the loving presence of your own unbreakable core, this is your oxygen. Tending to your own state of being is not a selfish indulgence. It is your most sacred and primary responsibility to the world. To take time for solitude, to practice your meditation, to do things that bring you authentic joy, to say no to things that drain your energy, these are not selfish acts. They are the essential work of securing your own oxygen mask. You can only give to the world what you possess within yourself. You cannot give peace if you are in a state of inner turmoil. You cannot give joy if you are depleted and resentful. Therefore, your greatest service to humanity is to become a stable, joyful, and peaceful presence. Maintaining your own high frequency is the most generous gift you could ever offer. Consider the nature of a lighthouse. A lighthouse does not exhaust itself running along the coastline, chasing after individual ships and trying to guide them through a storm. It does not burn out its light trying to save ships that are sailing determinedly towards the rocks. A lighthouse has only one, simple and profound function: to anchor itself deeply to the rock, to stand tall, and to shine its light, steadily and without condition. Its job is not to rescue. Its job is to illuminate. By being a powerful, unwavering source of light, it allows ships to orient themselves, to see the dangers, and to navigate their own course to safety. Your service to the world is to be this lighthouse. Your primary work is to anchor yourself to the rock of your unbreakable core. Your spiritual practice is the work of polishing your lantern, clearing away the soot of old beliefs and fears, so that the light of your true nature, the light of your love, your wisdom, your peace can shine as brightly and as purely as possible. By simply being this light, you empower everyone who comes into your field. You do not create dependency. You illuminate the way for others to find their own power, their own answers, their own safe harbor. This is a far more potent and sustainable form of service. It is service by resonance. When you walk into a room filled with peace and joy, you do not have to do anything. Your very presence, your energetic frequency, has a transformative effect on the environment. Your calm can soothe another's anxiety. Your joy can awaken another's forgotten laughter. Your simple, loving presence can be a greater healing balm than any advice you could ever offer. An act as simple as buying your groceries or answering an email, when performed from a state of profound inner fullness, becomes a sacred act. It is a meditation in motion, a quiet blessing offered to the world. You stop worrying about what you are doing, and you place your full attention on the state of your being while you are doing it. This understanding completely revolutionizes the agonizing search for your life's purpose. We have been taught that our purpose is a specific role we must find, a grand action we must perform to become a great artist, a healer, a leader, an activist. We search for this one special thing we are meant to do, and we feel like a failure until we find it. But the lighthouse teaches us a different truth. The purpose of the lighthouse is not defined by the ships it saves. The purpose of the lighthouse is simply to shine. Its being is its purpose. And so it is with you. Your primary purpose in this lifetime is not a specific task you must accomplish. Your deepest purpose is to fully and authentically embody the divine consciousness that you are. Your purpose is to be the unique, irreplaceable expression of love and light that only you can be. From this state of radiant being, purposeful actions will naturally and joyfully flow. But the being comes first. The purpose is not something you must go out and find. The purpose is what you already are. Your purpose is simply to be. You have learned to serve from a full cup. You have discovered that your greatest gift to the world is not what you do, but the state of conscious, loving presence from which you do it. You have become the lighthouse, anchored to the rock of your own being, shining your light effortlessly. This realization brings you to the foot of the final great mountain the ego must climb, the final and most noble-sounding question that has haunted humanity for millennia. What is my purpose? We are born into a civilization that is obsessed with this question. It is the driving force behind our education, our careers, our ambitions. We live with a quiet, persistent anxiety that there is one special, unique mission that we were sent here to accomplish, and we are terrified that we might miss it, that we might choose the wrong path, that we might reach the end of our lives and realize we have failed to do the one thing we were meant to do. This anxious search for a grand external purpose is the ego's last and most subtle game. The ego is not satisfied with simple existence. It needs a special role, a title, a story that makes it important. It wants to be the great healer, the visionary artist, the revolutionary leader, the spiritual teacher. It wants a purpose that will justify its existence and elevate it above others. But what is the hidden assumption behind this frantic search? It is the belief that your simple, unadorned being is not enough. It is the fear that your existence, in and of itself, has no intrinsic value, and that you must therefore do something significant to earn your place in the universe. It is the final, gilded version of the myth of the broken self. And it is time to lay this heavy burden down. Let us consider the profound wisdom of the natural world. What is the purpose of a wild rose growing in a forgotten corner of a forest? Is its purpose to be seen by a human eye? Is its purpose to be picked and placed in a vase? Is its purpose to win a prize for its beauty? Number. The purpose of the rose is to be a rose. Its purpose is to sink its roots into the earth, to draw water and nutrients from the soil, to unfurl its leaves towards the sun, and to allow its petals to open, expressing its unique and perfect form, color, and essence. Its intoxicating fragrance and its breathtaking beauty are not its purpose. They are the inevitable, glorious byproducts of it, fulfilling its primary purpose, which is simply to be itself, fully and completely. Now consider a star in the distant galaxy. What is its purpose? Is it to be a navigational point for a lost sailor on a tiny planet? Is it to be wished upon by a young lover? Is it to be studied by an astronomer? Number. The purpose of the star is to be a star. Its purpose is to exist, to burn, to undergo the magnificent process of nuclear fusion at its core, to radiate light and heat into the vastness of space. Its purpose is to shine. You are this rose. You are this star. Your primary, fundamental, and most important purpose in this lifetime is not a role you must find or a task you must accomplish. Your purpose is to be. That is all. Your purpose is to inhabit your human form so completely, to be so utterly present to the miracle of your own conscious existence, that your own unique fragrance, your own innate light, your wisdom, your love, your creativity, your unique gifts radiates out from you as a natural byproduct of your being. The world has taught you to have it backwards. You have been taught to believe that you must first do something of value, and then you will be happy and fulfilled. The truth is the opposite. You must first connect with the value and fulfillment of your own being, and then you will naturally do things that are aligned with that state, joyfully and without struggle. To make this clear, we can think of purpose in two dimensions. Your primary purpose is vertical. It is your connection to the timeless, formless dimension of being itself, to your unbreakable core. It is the quality of awareness you bring to this very moment, right now. This purpose is the same for every human on the planet, to awaken to their own divine essence. Your secondary purpose is horizontal. It is what you do in the world of form, in the dimension of time. It is your job, your relationships, your family, your hobbies, your creative projects. This secondary purpose is unique to you and will change many times throughout your life. The great error of humanity is to focus entirely on the secondary purpose, believing it will lead to the primary. We chase a career, a partner, a goal on the horizontal plane, hoping it will give us the peace and fulfillment of the vertical dimension. It never works. The path to a joyful life is to anchor yourself first and foremost in your primary purpose. When you learn to live in a state of conscious presence, to be, you create a powerful, energetic foundation. And from that foundation, the right secondary purpose, the right forms of doing, will be drawn to you effortlessly. You stop chasing your purpose, and you allow your purpose to find you. How then do you live this primary purpose? The answer is so simple, it is radical. You live it by bringing the totality of your presence to whatever is in front of you in this moment. If you are washing the dishes, your purpose in that moment is to wash the dishes, not to rush through it, so you can get to the more important thing. The important thing is happening right now. Can you feel the warmth of the water on your skin? Can you see the iridescent dance of the soap bubbles? Can you hear the sound of the ceramic plates? Can you be so fully present to the act of washing dishes that it becomes a meditation, a sacred act? If you can, you are fulfilling your purpose. If you are listening to a friend, your purpose is not to formulate your reply. Your purpose is to listen, to offer the spacious, loving gift of your full attention. If you are stuck in traffic, your purpose is not to rage at the injustice of it. Your purpose is to be aware of your own inner state, to feel your breath, to notice the light. The what you are doing becomes secondary to the how you are doing it, to the quality of consciousness you are bringing to the act. When you bring presence to the mundane becomes sacred. This is how you live your purpose, moment by moment by moment. When you live this way, you no longer need to worry about your secondary purpose. By focusing on the quality of your being, you become a powerful, coherent, vibrational transmitter. You radiate a frequency of peace, of presence, of love. By the universal law of resonance, life will then bring you circumstances, people, and opportunities that are a perfect match for that frequency. You will be guided. You will feel an intuitive pull towards a certain project, a certain conversation, a certain path. It will not feel like a heavy decision, but like a natural, easy unfolding. You will be like the river, flowing effortlessly around obstacles, always finding your way. You will have to do very little, for your state of being will be doing the real work for you. The crushing weight of having to figure out your entire life is lifted from your shoulders. You realize your only task is to take care of the quality of this moment. The future will then take care of itself. This is the great liberation. Your existence does not require justification. You do not need to earn your place. You are already a perfect and irreplaceable expression of the universe, just as you are. To be is enough. To be aware is enough. To breathe is enough. This realization dissolves the seriousness and the struggle of life. Life is no longer a problem to be solved, a mission to be accomplished, a test to be passed. The past, with its regrets, and the future, with its anxieties, lose their power over you, for you know that your true purpose can only be found here, in the sanctuary of the now. What then does life become? When you are no longer fighting it, no longer trying to control it, no longer trying to prove yourself to it, what is left? What is left is a quality of lightness, of playfulness, of freedom. You are free to participate in the grand, magnificent, and often mysterious unfolding of events, not as a soldier trying to win a war, but as a dancer, moving in harmony with a song. You are finally free to join the dance of existence. You have walked a long road to arrive here. You have journeyed inward through the shadowy valleys of your own fear and into the sunlit highlands of your true nature. You have faced the void and found a sanctuary. You have unmasked the roles you were playing and found your authentic face. You have sat with your pain and discovered it was a teacher. You have realized that you are not the fleeting wave, but the eternal ocean. You have abandoned the exhausting search for purpose and have found it in the simple, profound act of being. This journey has not been about becoming someone new. It has been the demolition of a lifetime of illusions. And with these illusions cleared, you stand at the precipice of a new existence, for you have finally brought an end to the longest and most draining war you have ever fought, the war against life itself. You have ceased to argue with reality. You have laid down your arms. A peace treaty has been signed in the quiet chambers of your own heart. Life is no longer a problem to be solved, a battle to be won, a test to be passed. So what is it then? What is this precious, mysterious, and often chaotic experience of being alive once the struggle has been relinquished? It is a dance. For most of your life, you have been on the dance floor, but you have refused to dance. The orchestra of the universe has been playing a magnificent and ever-changing symphony, and you have stood stiffly at the edge of the floor, arms crossed, analyzing the music, criticizing the tempo, judging the other dancers. You have been waiting for the perfect song, the one that matches your rigid expectations before you would deign to move. Or, when you were forced onto the floor, you moved with a tense, self-conscious awkwardness, trying to impose your own predetermined steps onto a rhythm you were not listening to. You tried to dance a frantic tango when the music was a slow, contemplative waltz. You tried to stand still when the music called for a joyful leap. You have been fighting the music, but a master dancer does not fight the music. A master dancer listens to it, feels it in their bones, and allows their body to become an instrument for its expression. They surrender to the rhythm. The invitation of your awakened consciousness is to finally, joyfully, surrender to the music of existence. It is time to join the dance. The dance floor is the present moment. The music is the ever-changing flow of circumstance. When the music is light and joyful, when success arrives, when love blossoms, when beauty fills your senses, the dance is one of celebration. You leap, you twirl, you laugh. You allow the joyful energy to move through you without reservation. You do not cling to this moment, fearing its end. A good dancer does not try to hold on to a beautiful note after it has been played. They enjoy it fully and are ready for the next. You savor the sweetness of the high points of your life without the poison of attachment, for you know the music will inevitably change. And when it does, when the tempo slows and the melody shifts to a minor key when loss comes, when your heart is heavy with grief, when a plan fails, the dance does not stop. This, too, is part of the symphony. The master dancer does not run from the stage when a sad song begins. They know that a somber waltz can hold as much beauty and grace as a lively jig. They bow to the feeling of sorrow. They move with it, honoring its depth, its dignity, its cleansing power. They allow the grief to carve them, to deepen their capacity for compassion, knowing that this, too, is a sacred movement in the great dance. They do not become the sadness, but they allow the sadness to be expressed through them, transforming it into a movement of profound beauty. When the music is wild, unpredictable, and chaotic, the dance becomes one of playful improvisation. This is the wisdom of flow in action. You do not know the next step, so you must become exquisitely present, responsive, and flexible. You let go of control and you trust your partner. And who is your partner in this dance? It is life itself. It is the present moment. Your partner leads, and your job is to listen with your whole being and respond with grace and trust. To be a good partner, you cannot be lost in your head, thinking about the last dance or worrying about the next one. You must be here, now, fully engaged, meeting the energy of your partner with your own. Sometimes your partner will spin you in a direction you did not expect. Your job is not to resist, but to say yes, and see where the new movement takes you. This is the joy of co-creation, the playful interplay between your conscious choices and the intelligent unfolding of the universe. And what of the moments of stillness? The greatest dancers understand the power of the pause, the silent beat between the notes. This is the movement of returning to your unbreakable core. It is the moment you stand perfectly still on the dance floor, feeling your own presence, your own silent being, before the next wave of music begins. This stillness is the source of all your graceful movement. You dance from silence, and you return to silence. To live this way is to be liberated from the tyranny of outcomes. A dancer's purpose is not to arrive at a certain spot on the floor. Their purpose is the dance itself. You are free to engage with the world, to love, to build, to create, to feel, not because you need the outcome to validate you or make you whole, but for the sheer joy of the movement. You can pour your heart into a project, and if it fails, the dance was still beautiful. You can love someone with all your being, and if they leave, the dance was still worth it. The quality of your presence in the dance is the only thing that truly matters. This is the final and most beautiful expression of a life lived from a full cup. You are so full of peace and love from your own inner source that you can afford to play, to risk, to engage with life's unpredictable music without fear. You are no longer desperately trying to control the orchestra. You are simply and joyfully dancing. So, I invite you now to take a deep breath. Feel the solid ground of your own being beneath your feet. Hear the subtle music of this present moment. Let go of the need to understand it all, the need to get it right. Let go of the seriousness of it all. Life is not a problem. It is a privilege. It is a mystery. It is a dance. And the orchestra is playing your song. Will you join in? And so, the dance concludes, and a gentle silence descends. The music fades, but the resonance remains within you. You began this journey seeking answers in the noise of the world, and you have found them in the stillness of your own heart. You came here feeling like a fractured and incomplete soul, and you have remembered the unbreakable, luminous wholeness that you have always been. You came here believing you were a fragile ship at the mercy of life's unpredictable storms, and you have realized that you are not the ship, not the storm, not even the wave. You are the entire, peaceful, immeasurable ocean. The path you have walked was not one of becoming, but of unbecoming. It was a gentle stripping away of all that you are not, so that the magnificent truth of what you are could finally be revealed. Remember the quiet, empty room within you that you once feared? The void you spent a lifetime trying to fill with distractions and achievements? Let us return there now, Step across the threshold. But this time, it is not dark. It is not empty. The room is filled with a soft, warm light that emanates from your own presence. The silence is not an absence. It is a rich, nourishing peace. This is your home. This is the sanctuary that has been patiently waiting for you behind the clamor of your thoughts. It is the source of all your wisdom, all your love, and all your power. Know that you can return to this sacred space anytime you wish with just a single, conscious breath. It is always here. You are always here. Carry this feeling with you as you re-engage with the world. Let it be the ground you walk on and the air you breathe. When the world presents its challenges, remember the dance. When your mind creates its fears, remember the sky. And when you forget who you are, as you surely will from time to time, be gentle with yourself. Simply come back to the truth, to this feeling of home. Let this be the new foundation of your being, the simple mantra of your soul. I am the silence that listens. I am the peace that observes. I am the love that radiates. I am home. There is nothing more to learn and nothing more to do. The journey is complete. And now, just be. Just breathe.